This is the most himbo you're going to find me.
That stole your shirt. I'm sorry, I just wanted to oogle zebra titties.
Oogle. Oogle before the zebra titties. Hang on a second, let me move my keyboard out of the way so I can do so I can drag it across the desktop. Watch this nonsense.
Hello!
Spin! Spinning. Don't say it. Don't say it, Grant. You know what Bone wrote. You don't need to say it out loud. You don't need to say it. It's up, dog. What's up with you? Some thingy-majiggy, and then I need my AC capture. Properties, AC capture, yep, is not grabbing onto the Twitch thingy-majiggy. No, I'm gonna say Phantom, you broke it. I was doing A-okay, and then something broke just as you came in. Oh, thank you for the follow there, Riven. Greatly appreciate it. Alrighty then. Back in, here we go. It'll take a minute for the, what's-a-mahoozy to... Darn it.
Damn it, I wish you...
Oh! Oh!
Hello!
Careful, they got the shield, so, like, they just need... Oh!
I'd win.
Yes! Nice work! Can you pick up my card and revive me, please? You can leave the medallion there, so then that way it doesn't, like, fall you and such like that for now. Yes! Oh! Thank you, Cap.
Like I said, I'd win. Oh shit! Hey, Griffin!
Someone clip that! Someone please clip that. That moment of Cap, of like, just, congratulations, Cap. And Cap is just like, nah, I'd win. And then Peter Griffin.
How do I clip?
Oh my god. Do I have it as a command? Hold on. Bleh. Yeah, this Zeeb just can't do anything correctly, and this is supposed to be like just a first time I actually utilize my VR model for any further modifications, because if I keep modifying it, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'll utilize it in the after the next update or the next change I put towards it, and it's like I'd end up not using it, and it'd just be like, what's my username on Discord? GrantZeebs. What's my username on Twitch? GrantZeebs. What's my username on YouTube? Well, YouTube is technically using a Google account in order to do that kind of nonsense, and I can't have a direct link to YouTube, but lo and behold, GrantZeebs. Ta-da! The fuck am I going? This way. Cool. I should have muted for that one. Did that even get through on the mic? Did people actually hear that? We found someone, didn't we? I knew it. I knew we could. If someone could please clip it real quick. I can... Fucking try me there. Damn it, there's a Keck W in my way. Move, move, Mega. Shut up! Do we have car keys?
No, I don't think we do. I'm gonna place the camera.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then we transfer once more. Let's do it again. Hide this thing. Back over here. Alrighty, there we go. So yeah. Thank you, Morse. Morning. So yeah, I muted like the actual microphone and what have you, not the what's-a-mahoozies, so I will be absolutely shocked if I sound like an entirely different voice level. But yeah, I am awake. I am awake. It is 11 o'clock right now. I'm starting these like party game streams like an hour later than I'm starting this one an hour later than I probably would have done for like a morning stream, because last month it was like 10 o'clock. You're awake, but at what cost? Not that much of a cost, quite honestly, Morse. I was awake till like basically midnight last night, and I was still able to get like a good amount of sleep because I just changed my alarm clock to be like, oh, don't go off until 9:30 today, because, you know, I feel like by 9:30, that's enough time to be like, oh, hey, we're gonna, you know, that's enough time to boot up the PC, make sure the PC is not broken or anything like that. Oh, the fishing game isn't on. Hang on a second. Sorry about that, Furry Cures. I should be able to refund you. Yes, I'm able to refund you. There we go. There we go. Alrighty, I'm gonna move you over there. So yeah, fishing game. So now if I do the fish furry cures. Oh, thank you, Morse. Yay, fish. You get your fishing game now. But yeah, so this is happy Pride Month for everyone. And happy Pride Month, whether you're trans, bi, gay, straight, or just, you know, whichever you are within the spectrum of sexuality. Happy Pride Month. So I'm about like a few hours ahead of a lot of the other Americans and what have you, so they're still enjoying like May on the 30th before they get hit with like the rainbow in the eyes. As your usual little fighter is undefeated. Yeah, I need to hang on. Emote gun. I need to get in there. Let's see. Hi there, Meeps. We are doing Maternity still. I unfortunately, like, maybe because of the fact that I was trying to do like so many streams this month before I go on break, I have not done anything to influence Maternity or anything like that. Even though I have like a cyborg boy that, you know, gender fluid and has like all kinds of things, it didn't get any commission pieces for Maternity. I did not do any 3D nonsense. Like, yeah, I haven't done it. I haven't done like anything worthwhile enjoying our last few hours of Maternity. Morris is just enjoying the last few hours before all the eggs are gone. They're like an Easter bunny. You just finished something for that? Hey, nice work there, Angrel. So yeah, that'll definitely go in the not safe for work content when you're done and what have you. So that should be good. But yeah, so happy Pride Month, June 1st. Which also means, might I mention, that this is June 1st, which means this is my last stream before I go on break. I'm going to be going, I intend to go on break for like a month. So, and like this is going to be like a proper break off. This is going to be a break off from streaming, whether planned or unplanned. This is a break off from Twitter, from Discord, from TikTok. Like, I want to try and have as much of my online presence not in the forefront or the focus in the month of June. I want to try and, you know, get rid of this, like, sort of obsession on the internet that I have, where it's like, oh, like I'm playing this game, I wanna stream it. I should be doing it like three times a week. I'm gonna go through this and that. It's like no. I want to try and get. I probably will do a little bit of Twitter and maybe something in Discord. I'll be real with you, because even though I'm going to be on break, there's still going to be something that I am going to want to do, like redoing the OBS layout before I come back in July, or redoing the Discord server entirely and like pruning the channels, the roles, and the viewers and what have you that I have there. So that'll probably go away and what have you. So there's that, and then I also have like just a few things in my like that friends have been asking for. So like Blue, for instance, they're hoping I can do something in 3D for them, and I want to do that for them. I want to try and make like an icy pop in 3D, and I don't want it to be like a terribly modded or terribly modeled like ice cream or anything like that. I want to try and do like a really good wet one with that one. Cookie for Night Sky. Here's your cookie, Night Sky. It's worthwhile to detox from a bit. Yes, absolutely. That's very much the reason for the June break. One is to detox from streaming and what have you, because I have the discipline down pat, I feel, for doing the consistent like streamings and what have you. The downside is that like I've not been able to improve my IRL self or aspects to go into the discipline of streaming, and I think I need to take time off, so then that way I can have a little more of a reflection over myself of like, oh, how do I want to like improve myself IRL, like do I need to put way more exercise in, like does this mean that when I finally do go back to streaming, does this mean that I'm going to be like a very lower amount of like streams going off, where it's like, oh, there's only like Saturdays and Mondays I'm streaming or something like that, where the Saturday is the MMO game, and then the Mondays is the single player video game. Like, who knows? Maybe could happen. So, but yeah. All right, let me get these things out of the way. Let me move you here, you there. Discord can go up here and slap to the right. Make sure that is always showing. Head to the stream. So, all right, let me get the Golf with Friends up and running. So, hopefully the Golf with Friends will work. Now, as far as I know, I don't need to be friends with you in order for you to join in and play golf with your friends with me. It just needs to be a case of I set up a private server with a name and a password, and then we can just be like, oh hey, here's the whatsamahoozies and what have you. So let's see how this is. All right, is the game capture gonna work? Yes, the game capture is going to work. Awesome. I did not buy any of the DLCs.
Skill issue.
All right, so we go online, and then we host a game, GrantZeebs, with a password. All right. Here we go. All right. Teams are disabled. It's a random course. Okay, I can't go the red marble. I will go Cosmics. Wait, was there a Halo 4 thing? Oh no, it's just a Halo, okay. And then I haven't unlocked any of the trails. There's the Dirge floaty. Alrighty. Random, classic. Yeah, we're gonna go classic. Do we want would join, but your powers? Oh no! I'm sorry to hear that, Angrel. Alrighty. Maximum players 12. Password has been set. I am going to invite. I can see 2 people in my friends list that are already in the game. What's the password? Right. So, for the GrantZeebs lobby, the password is Himbo Fun, all one word. And I can stop the music in the background. Yep, there's Cap. Welcome, welcome. Series of Beats. Hey, of course, Series of Beats goes for the fucking cyan. Of course he does. Let me go with... Alright, I'll apply none, and then we'll go... What's a good yellow? There we go. Alrighty. So, we probably want to... Oh! Stream waiting. Here we go. Let me move you in. Hi there, Cap. Oi. Alrighty. As I've mentioned on these party game streams, if you would like to join in on this game, and you're just like a viewer or something like that, you are welcome to join in. It should be allowed for people to, like, you know, jump in. The VC is reserved for, you know, friends and what have you. Might join you in voice in a bit, but they're renovating the apartment above me, and holy shit, it's been so noisy all day. Fair enough. Thank you, Morse, for being respectful about the noise and what have you. I hope the renovations above you don't go on for too long, because that would honestly be a terrible Saturday/Friday for you. So, all right. So we got 3 people in so far. I'll give you guys a couple minutes in case anyone in the viewers wants to join in on the game and they're just having a little bit of trouble getting through the Golf with Your Friends program. Cap, how's it going?
It's going good. Turns out the headache that happened last night turned into a whole damn migraine.
Oh, Jesus. Was that because of, like, lack of water or something, or?
I have no idea. I just slept it off. Took some Panadol.
Fair enough.
All good now.
Good news, you can take both Panadol and Nurofen at the same time, and it won't cause adverse effects.
Actually, I can't take Nurofen because it's an ibuprofen, and ibuprofen fucks with your gut.
Oh, what?
That'd be the worst for me.
Oh, damn, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is what it is, though.
I only have the game on PS5. Don't know if there's crossplay, but also gaming with other friends on Fortnite. Fair enough, Night Sky. I'm pretty sure this game has, pretty sure this game would do crossplay. Because if it's allowing you to do, like, a server browser, I feel like it would allow, you know, crossplay. Actually, you know what? I can probably Google this. Golf with Your Friends crossplay. Is Golf with Your Friends crossplay? No, unfortunately not. Well, that's annoying. Why is it so fucking hard trying to organize, like, a game where it's like, oh, I just want to play with complete strangers with, you know, a little bit of... Oh, come on, Cap. Did you... This is what Cap writes. Using my clit as a joystick. Thanks.
I mean, I implied cock, but clit works as well.
Yeah, no, because... Bruh. Exactly, Sky. Bruh. It's like, I don't understand how, like, in this age, it's like, oh, crossplay is still not a guarantee when you play online games that want you to be online all the time. It's like, why? Why is this not something that we've, like, you know, tried to enforce? Like, how a majority of games now are released with, subtitles, even the ones that are, like, produced in Japan, which are woefully, you know, lacking in accessibility settings. PlayStation, like, still goes, like, fucking ham with the accessibility settings. Have you heard of Game Maker's Toolkit?
Me? No.
So, it's a YouTube channel where a developer like talks about like all kinds of like, you know, the tricks of the trade and development of video games and what have you. And there was a thing. Oh no, Morse!
Sakurai do that?
Sakurai do what? Sorry.
Sakurai, the guy who made Kabi and Super Smash Bros. Brawl and all that.
I don't know, but yeah, this developer, once a year they were doing this video where they were doing this thing where they once a year they like reviewed like some of the major releases that went off in video games and like what were the accessibility features in the game. Now and like it was interesting because like PlayStation for a number of times has come out on top because some of it is like absolutely crazy, the amount of stuff you can turn on, like, you know, turning on like different colorblind stuff, setting like the actual color of player, NPC, interactive environments, visual aid for sound, auditory aid for you know, the things around you, different languages, subtitles. It was like absolutely insane, the amount of stuff. But so often like Japanese titles like Devil May Cry, they had like, you know, barely anything in place. And it was a case of like, I think it was in like 2021 or something like that. It was like, oh, if like, you know, if you looked at video games and it was like you looked at only Western releases, 99% of games like major release had had accessibility features beyond just, oh, let's turn on subtitles. But the minute you include Japan, it was like, oh, only like 3/4 of the releases had accessibility features. So, do we want to?
And Japanese people just see like, oh, you only got one hand. Skill issue.
Skill issue, yeah. All right, doesn't look like there's anyone else jumping in. I'll get a game started with the 3 of us at the very least. Get people, you know, a bit of an idea of what kind of maps there are. I've only ever played this game like a few times.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I haven't played this in a hot bit.
Alrighty, here we go. Oh, no, 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 no! Oh, god damn it. Oh, 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 come on, and... Par.
I got 1 under.
Alrighty. Here we go. Where does it end you up? Oh, I see how it works. Okay, okay, okay. Here we go, and...
Yes! Son of a bitch.
Oh, hey, Morse watches Game Maker's Toolkit as well. Alright, hang on. So there's a gravity thing. Oh, 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 oh!
Wait, did you just... How long have you been practicing?
I have not been practicing. I have not been practicing. I have not played this game in fucking months.
I do not believe you.
I don't care. This is where we're at. Oh my gosh. Oh, you have to left click. Left click, left click, left click. No, no! Oh shit!
Damn it. Oh no, I'm finished. I'm finished.
Hang on. Here we go. And... No!
I'm
God damn it. Oh, come on! No! Oh, this is the one that fucks me over. Ah, I want to just. All right, here we go.
Damn it. I'm never recovering from this.
No, I'm never financially recovering from this. All right, here we go. Here we go.
No.
No. Oh my. This is fucking bullshit.
I'm cooked.
No.
Oh, it took me
Oh
11
god damn
strokes.
it. Fuck it. I'm just gonna get rid of the fucking. Oh Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna get rid of the thing because otherwise I'm just gonna. All right, here we go. All right. I need those hole-in-ones earlier. Ah, I went from. I had such a strong lead, and now I'm just like second. Alrighty, here we go.
Oh shit. Yes, 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 yes.
Ooh, come on.
I
no.
run a motherfucker.
There we go. Bogey. Alright. I need to recover. Alright, let's have a look. So we got portals. Ah. There we go. And then. Oh no! Come on! No! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Par. There we go. I'm recovering. God damn, that hole fucked me over, hole 4.
Yeah.
Alright. You know you can
Pull
free
that
cam,
out.
right?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so... So you have to go,
Wow.
like, up and around, and then up. Damn it. Fuck it. No! Oh, god damn you.
Oh shit, am I about to get an eagle? Ah. Son of a bitch.
God damn it.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, what the? How do I? Is there a jump I'm missing? Hang on. Controls on the keyboard. Light, reset. Handbrake is S. C. Free cam. F, R, T, E.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I figured it out. Oh, you mu-
Nine. Lovely.
God.
Hey, we're even, Stevens.
Yeah, but like, oh my god. All right.
Hey, damn it. Hey, oh.
Here we go. What the fuck is going on with this thing? Oh, par! Oh.
2 over.
Oh no, look at Mars. Oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, this is the one for Mars.
This is our comeback. This is our comeback.
This is our comeback. Nope. What? Oh, oh. Oh.
Okay.
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 Honestly,
Okay.
if you DNF in this, it's just it feels so terrible. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I'm gonna be real. I have not met a golf course that has like, or a putt-putt where they decide to, you know, do that, where it's like, oh, let's just like dip the hole in just to make it like, so you can just sort of like estimate. All right, so where's the? Okay.
All right. Yep.
There we go.
Hey, yo. All that in one.
Par. There we go. All right.
8.
All right. Okay, so there's UCAP. All right, are you gonna? Hi there, Hendrix. Yep.
Bogey.
No, that's fair. That's fair. More IRL putt-putts need gravity wells. More IRL parts need this. They need to have it so that the last, like, the hole actually is in a dip. So then that way,
You drink.
that way it's like you're not, like, fucking around. All right. Okay, this feels... Okay, so there's a red one there. So... And then there's purple. Which... oh,
Orange.
alrighty.
Oh, I almost got a fucking hole in one with that.
What did you do? You were up to orange, was it?
Yeah.
Alright, here we go.
Bombaclat.
Alright, here we go. I'm gonna go...
Ah, baby.
Ah.
Dingy.
Oh, no. Oh, you son of a... Where the fuck am I?
You're like right in front of the
Oh,
flag.
god damn it!
Ooh, painful.
I can barely see because of the... No! Oh my god.
Ow. That's gotta hurt.
Oh, that's even worse! Are you kidding me?
Ooh.
Stop it!
This is my comeback. Wait, what? Oh. Oh, you... Wait.
Oh my god. Okay, you and Morris are now tied. I need to...
Okay. Dang. Double damage. Triple damage.
Oh, god damn you. Fuck's sake! Ugh!
Damn.
15 seconds is not enough. God damn it.
There we go.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. God, fuck this hole.
8 strokes.
That portal is a fallacy. I feel like beeps. I feel like it's just. Oh, Oh, he got it.
He got it.
He's got 20 seconds, or otherwise he DNFs. Here we go. And 11. All right, let's see.
I'm in first.
Oh.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Oh, it's a good commanding lead is the thing as well.
Okay. Aha.
Oh, god damn you.
But how does that happen? I gotcha. Damn. Double damn.
Bogey. All right. Where are you? Are you? Oh, okay, cool. All right, so you're par. I just need you to fuck up a few times. Damn. Okay, you're not gonna fuck up on that one. Oh, Morse. Did I ever... Damn it, you're still in the lead by like 4 points.
That. Portals.
Yep.
Damn.
Bogey. All right.
Makes you feel any better. I'm getting a bogey as well.
Yeah, but that means you and I are at
Oh,
the
wait,
same pace.
Double bogey.
Oh, okay. So I'm 1 point closer to you then. All right, so you're still 3 ahead. Okay, so.
Naruhodo.
Oh, you bastard!
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Eagle,
fuck
baby.
you! No, I'm just, oh, I'm fucking over. What is going on? Just can't... You got an eagle from all that.
I got an eagle. I did it in 3.
How?
I'm the best. Don't ask about hole 4. Ooh. Ah.
I lost where the flag is, actually.
Damn. Oh, I was almost cooking with that one.
Oh, you... Hi there, Zoot. Yeah, I'm doing my golf. How's it going?
I'm cooked. I am cooked. Beyond belief.
Ah!
7.
Oh my god. Stop.
Oh shit, I'm still plus on you guys. Except for beeps.
Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. There. Yeah, got caught in the thingamadickies. So Beeps got in, like... Oh.
Nah, Beeps is, Are they cooking?
Nah.
They're not.
No, they're not. They're not. Why won't it, like... We've both gone into the hole. Why doesn't it show us, like, this... never mind.
Ooh. Donut fuck.
God damn it. There's, like, a difference of 9 between you and me.
Okay. Ah.
3, 2. No way Beeps got that in 4.
I got it in 3.
Oh, don't you dare, game. No, 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 no. Oh, you... Please don't get me caught in a... God damn it, I got 2 hole-in-ones so early on and they're fucking useless now.
Okay.
Oh, you...
Ah.
Gosh darn it. Yeah, this is gonna be your win. You've been doing, like, more consistently than I have. I have had, like, a lot of 8s and 9s. God damn it.
I literally just needed, like... I needed to lock in. I needed to remember how to play this game.
Yep. Just tap in, it's all in the hit. You're welcome to join in, Hendrix, and show us how it's done.
Yeah, since the next hole's the last hole.
Yeah, well... It's really just a race between me and Beeps to get out of this. Where the fuck... Okay, it's up there. We need the blue. Oh my god.
Ah.
Do you have any rhyme or reason?
Yep. Oh, fuck.
Oh, damn it. Oh.
That's annoying. There we go. Double bogey's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with double bogey as well. I wasn't gonna beat you.
Wow, I got like 20 on y'all.
Yeah, cause like I fucked up like so many stages. I fucked like hole 11. I fucked up so strongly and what have you. It's like, hey, I got a new raft. Yay! Alrighty. So yeah, lobby is still open for everyone. And if you want to join in, you're welcome to, you know, give me and Cap company. I am going to just go on a little hunt. Alright, so Moss. Was Tetsu joining in?
I'm like the Gojo of golf.
The Gojo of golf, are you? Is that it?
I got this one friend who does pixel art, and they've been absolutely just fucking churning like absolute gold out like for the last week, and I'm like, they're all animations and they're just like super good, and I'm like, how do you cook like this? How do you do it? It's incredible. I might send you some.
Alright.
But you can't show them on stream because, of course, all my friends are fucking porn addicts.
Just like me.
Wig.
Like. Okay. Yeah, this person just never responds to me. I should probably just Alright. Let us see. Let us see.
Lettuce.
I'm trying to like find, because I try and do these things when I do the whole party game stream of like, okay, let me just send a direct message to a number of people, and to try and like, you know, get a sense of like, hey, can you come along to these and such. I tried like a really big like span, like I think 2 months ago and such, but I never consistently do this because it's like I have to like cut and paste in like so many different areas rather than just having like a distribution list to be like, hey, you have all said, like, this is a distribution list of people that have emails that are like they're like, oh, I'm interested. From Impulsive say I don't have games when I meant to say I don't have that game.
I was very lucky to just be getting on the computer like 12 seconds after you sent that tweet out going, I'm playing golf with friends.
Nice.
Hop in.
Nice. Meanwhile, on my side, I am not seeing... Yeah, because, like, most of the people I think of sending are busy doing something else, or the last few times I've tried sending them messages, it's been a like silence from them. So it's like, okay, well, clearly the last 3 times I've tried, I'd like, you know, inviting you to things has not, you know, you don't care. So
I'm gonna check if I need to slap Code on the head, see if he wants in.
I think Code is working a shift. Jason was supposed to join in at one point, but I think Code was taking on a shift at work. So there was that.
The joys of being unemployed. The only downside is I have no money for porn.
Yeah. Nah, with me it's got the monies and what have you. I just need a balance between food and all that. But yeah, oh, I need to send the message again in this chat because it like disappeared. If there's anyone in chat that's currently lurking that wants to join in for a game of golf with your friends, the lobby is still open and you just need to use the password HimboFun. Alright, what's Izzy saying? Again, I can join for free. Just assume I don't have it. Very treasure. Do you know if you can, like, join in halfway through in a golf game?
I don't believe you can.
Join mid-game. Let's see. Is it possible to join? It says you can't join mid-run, unfortunately. Okay. Gosh darn it. What? How do the other streamers do it? How do they make it so look so easy of like, oh, here's 8 people that is currently sitting in a VC and there's like all kinds of like what's mahoozy nonsense.
Wait, this is like a Saturday, like midday.
Yeah, like here's the thing is like it's a Saturday midday. It is like, let me look at my world clock. It is, granted, it's 1 in the morning in England, so fuck that nonsense. But it's only like 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and it's like 7 over on the West Coast. Like, I've tried to, you know, find a zone, but the problem is that I have like a number of connections, but it's like there's no one region where a majority of my connections are willing to play with me. Like, Australia is just fucked. Half of them are just, you know, don't respond and what have you. It feels just very, oh, like he's an Aussie fur, so because I'm an Aussie fur, yeah, we say we're friends and what have you. But, you know, if you remove that little thing of like, oh, if you weren't Aussie furs, are you friends? It's like, no, quite frankly. Do you have this problem, like friends and what have you?
I don't usually have friends.
I love how Morse writes we're enemies, and I'm gonna be real with you. That's probably been one of the better reasons why you and I have been able to like hang out in each other's chats and you know, play games like these, is because it's a case of like there's way more energy that goes into keeping track of your enemies than, you know, oh, here's a friend, quote unquote. Oh no, that's Avalon playing Final Fantasy XIV, the critically acclaimed MMORPG.
With a free trial that now includes award-winning extension Heaven's Ward, as well as Stormblood.
Yep. Up to level 70.
Up to level 70.
With no restrictions on playtime.
No restrictions.
Alright, do we want to do another game?
Sure thing.
Alrighty. At one point, I think I'm just gonna have to go through all my conversations and be like, right, I'm just gonna delete this direct message, because, like, it's just fluffing up the, like, my list of direct messages of peeps that I've communicated with that I wouldn't define as friends. No, okay, hang on. Not another volcano. No. Hang on. Forfeit the hole. Hang on. Retire.
Retire.
Host. GrantZeebs, password, himbo, fun. Like... Wait, why is peaceful pun... I get what you mean, though. Part of the struggle is time zones and such. Anyone you know from raiding me is wrapped up when I'm starting, and anyone I'd raid into is just getting started when you're winding down. Yeah, it's a... It's a tough, it's a tough gig.
Or you bar just
Oh my
watch
god,
the Sinnoling
play
playing
golf with your
bar.
friends. Ultimate Edition is like $80. Alright, let's go forest. Let's just go for something classic. Let me see if I can invite Morse from here. Yep, so Morse is navigating the menus. Fuck it, I'm gonna send an invite to... River. New Planix. Sometimes I wonder if I, just need to be an asshole and just sort of be like, hey, you're free Saturday, right? You're gonna do this with me? Like, do I have to be that absurd rather than being like, hi there, I
feel like you should.
Gonna be right back. Not to worry. Give this a minute. Dink. I'm using tilt controls. But yeah, my 30 years I've been doing all this whole, like, alive and needing to socialize with people and what have you, and it doesn't get easier.
It certainly does not.
It weirdly doesn't. It's like, oh, I can do the whole, going to like a dinner party or something like that, and it's like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, shake their hands and what have you, and it's, I can do that. I can be at weddings, funerals, group functions, any of that nonsense, and I'm able to do the, hey, here's a quick like 3-hour thing, so I'm actually, occupying my time and I'm occupying their time. But the minute it's something like this, where it's like trying to host shit, I get nothing. And hearing like the neurotypicals just being like, oh, you just need to ask the right person. What do you mean? What do you mean the right person? Are you telling me that like I don't have the right friends at that point, or I'm not like pursuing the right people? Like, the fuck you mean you just need to talk to the right people? It means there's wrong people that I shouldn't be trying to be friends with? That is just like, oh, you're just gonna throw them into this like, fucking massive pool of like, oh, you can acknowledge them, but you don't invite them to things. Like,
It's fucking crazy. You talking about, your struggles with socialization with the fucking cheery fucking golf with friends music going on.
Yep, this is what is it, Barthos or whatever it is, where it's just like hearing the thingy-majiggies in the background, where it's just like, hi there, do you suffer from irritable bowel syndrome? Would you like to get your life back on track? Well, join us today and get a free subscription model for the first 3 refills, and you too can enjoy a worry-free weekend. Side effects may include raised heart rate, heart attacks, palpitations, sweating, diarrhea, constipation, and wet mouth.
Wet mouth, innit?
Wet mouth. I feel bad every time Grant comes to me to join a game and then find out that I'm a very lonely inner life, Lamau. Honestly, Izzy, you even just telling me, hey, I thank you for the invite, but I can't play because I don't have it. You've done better than most people I've sent this message to. I've had so many people just, leave it on red. Side effects may include Palpatine. I may have accidentally said Palpatine, you're right. So yeah.
Side effects may include do it.
So yeah. Honestly, like, because the thing is that I want to do party games, but I don't want to just be first Saturday of the month is just going to be Jackbox, because I'm going to be real with you, I get tired of Jackbox. I don't want to go through, like, 3 different kinds of fibbage. I don't want to go through like champion brackets. My favorite modes are TKO, which is very much reliant on someone doing a good shirt design or good quotes. And then you know, a little bit of the like murder trivia party is always a good one. Jackbox is fun, but you can't do that. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm very like probably like yeah, once a month is already too much. Like once every 3 months or maybe once every 6 months. I don't know how people do it where it's like, oh yeah, every week we play Jackbox. I'm like, unless you have a rotating cast, it's gonna be boring for you. You need to be, and like, thank you, Cap, for being here whenever I do party game streams and what have you. Same as you, Morse. But I'm gonna be real with you. I think I'd get tired after the 3rd Jackbox with you, wouldn't I?
Also, we have a new guest on the stream.
Do we?
We do. Iggy, say hi. You were meowing before. Got nothing to say? Little bitch. This punk motherfucker.
Also works best when you're down a pint. You need to be a certain level of not thinking. Rocky Road or Mint Chip? Clearly Rocky Road. You'd be delirious with Mint Chip. Mint Chip just, you know, your breath is like, you know, pristine and you can feel the air on your teeth. But Rocky Road, oh, you're drunk on cocoa. So, but yeah, I can understand Quent doing like Mario Kart because 1, it's a rotating cast, but then 2, viewers are able to join in on it because it's one of the many games where I feel like because it's in the Nintendo console, sure. But Nintendo's like first party is a case of like, oh, you got the Nintendo Switch, which has a limited number of games and a lot of first party titles that are rarely remakes. You're going to enjoy Mario playing a sport, Mario racing, and Zelda. Those are your 5 options. You're gonna have these games because there's no others for you to play on the Nintendo Switch.
Speaking of Nintendo, I gotta fucking do some more commissions. I want to get I never played the 1000-Year Door, and now that the remake's out, I wanna know the funny trans woman. You want
to know about the trans ghost that was there like way back in the GameCube era, and then America was just like, this could be a mistranslation, so let's just change it to this thing. And then they fixed the translation in the modern day, and everyone's just like, what do you mean the ghost is woke? It's like, the fuck you mean?
I'm gonna keep it real. The first exposure I had to Mario and the 1000-Year Door was a porn animation with Vivian. A Flash one. Oh my... It was good. It was good though.
Oh, how? No. What?
I was a horny kid. I was looking everywhere
but like,
for the good.
No, I would not put... I understand just by pure quantity, there's probably a lot of like the Mario franchise in the video game porn, but like, you had Overwatch. Overwatch is amazing.
Overwatch wasn't out when that came out.
Damn. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And honestly, the only Overwatch character that that my dick gets mad hard for is Orisa. Let's keep it real. She's hot as fuck.
Okay, okay. My favorite Overwatch girl is Mei. I'm sorry.
That's fair. That's fair.
Look, she's girl.
That's good stuff.
She's thick. She got the right hairstyle. And like what's more is because of like I love the development history where it's like, oh, we got Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite, and that was like a pretty good model and what have you for the bone weights and everything. And then it went even further in the 3DX industry, and for some reason that like the model iterations from the 3DX and what have you were so good with the bones and what have you. You didn't have to do like a lot of extra nonsense as well. That model, those like model things and setup were used in Overwatch for some of their characters. And so then you just have the cycle repeating itself where it's like, oh, the Overwatch characters have really great models and weight paints and shit. Let's fucking go. And it's so great. So, and what's more is like 3DX, like they have such a low barrier, like a low bar to do like some of the fetishes that I quite enjoy. And yet there's such a high bar for making it good. So yeah, but no, May
I'm
absolutely.
also gonna keep it a buck. I said I'll keep it a buck, and then my train of thought was immediately gone. That's wild.
It was spent so quickly. You spent that buck so fast.
Right, I spent it on Orisa inflation porn Patreon.
Hi there, Tatsu. Welcome to. Hey, Tatsu. Would you two things? One, would you like to join in with a game of golf with your friends? You're welcome to join in the VC if you want with me and Cap. And number two, who is your favorite Overwatch character in like the 3D environments?
Which Overwatch character are you trying to stick your penis in?
Cap!
What?
You can't be this blatant sometimes. Ugh.
Look, I've learned that being very autistic and blatant is hilarious.
It is hilarious.
And I'm good at that.
I went through an hour arguing about a Tim Tam with Blue last night. Do you?
Oh, so that's what that was about.
Okay.
It's not cream. It's chocolate.
Okay, but here's the thing. Blue called it cream.
Wild. Are they Australian?
Yes, they are Australian. They are very much
Wild.
Australian. And here's the thing. I am willing to take the L with the case of like, oh yeah, it's not a wafer in the Tim Tam. I'm fine with that. But I feel like saying it's cream inside is a bigger
It's too solid
L.
to be cream.
And then
It's too solid to be cream.
yeah, and here's the thing is like, hi there, Air Morris. I'm bringing you into this conversation. Here's the thing, is that if you talk to like a few people that are like culinary experts, they're like, oh yeah, no, it is cream. But here's the problem is that when you say cream, there's only like three different kinds of creams the average layman thinks of. Milk cream, whipped cream, and then like the cream on top of cupcakes. None of those consistencies are in a Tim Tam.
I'm just letting you know, Iggy just slapped you on stream.
Oh, smack.
It's a chocolate creme. Like, okay, why did you write it like that? A chocolate creme. What's the?
It's French.
It's
weird.
a French. Okay, it's a French cream, is what it is.
Grant, check DMs.
Check my DMs.
Check your DMs. It's cute.
Aw. Hi, Capsum Iggy. Hello.
He slapped you. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Recommended to suplex the cat.
Hang on. I have a gun.
Not. He's also pissed off somewhere.
Alrighty. It's the same consistency as the cremes from the creme all sorts. The fuck is a creme all sort? Like, Tatsu, you're gonna need to himbo this for me. Grant rejecting Blue's culinary expertise is that great old American. Exactly. Because here's the thing: is that like Blue has to explain to me that there's different kinds of creams. All right. That's the same as like explaining there's different kinds of cheeses if you're arguing about whether or not cheese goes on a pizza. If you're a purist, no. Or actually, no. If you're a purist, it's a maybe because technically mozzarella. Because of like the whole like red, green, and white, right? And like that little like silly fact where they're like, oh, the Italian flag's colors are represented in the original pizza with the tomato, the basil, and the mozzarella, and it's like that's fucking stupid. There is no cheese that's just white.
I want pizza for lunch.
Americans don't believe in experts, and that's why all the bridges are collapsing. Hey. You okay? I see you writing that. Give me a second. I need to get the what's Mahuzi? Let me open up Upper GX. So Morse might know. Okay, so you know the story about how there was like a bridge in Virginia or what have you that collapsed because of a night shift crew of like shipping containers crashed into it.
Oh yeah.
All right. Shipping container ship compared to enter. Here's the thing. This fucking post.
Like the Starship Enterprise, a fantasy ship, 305 meters long. This giant fucking ship that goes through space and such, and you know, fucking shipping container ships. Most of they're like 400 meters, and that's not even like the biggest one. What was the one that stuck up the Suez Canal?
That's also the Evergreen, wasn't it?
No, but it wasn't the Evergreen that crashed into the what's-a-mahoozy. All right, ding dong. It was blocked by Evergreen. Is one of the largest container ships. Let's have a look. How big is it? It is 400. Okay, so this is 400 meters long. God damn it. Okay, so it is like basically that. All right. Ding dong. U.S. bridge collapses after ship struck it. Which one was that one?
Oh, I saw last night. You saw water, froth and foam.
Yes, I saw that. Oh, okay. I recognize those assorted creams. But here's the thing: is like, so basically like the inside of an Oreo, but the inside of the Oreo kind of cream is not in a Tim Tam.
It ain't.
So that's the problem.
You
is
think
that
it is? You ain't eating Tim Tams.
Like every time.
Get the fuck out of Australia.
Every time someone like is trying to correct me on like, oh, it is a cream inside the Tim Tam, they have to like really nitpick about the actual composition of this particular cream, which I feel like is you're losing the argument already on telling me that the Tim Tam is filled with cream. It's something else entirely different.
I'll be right back. Iggy's doing some Iggy shit.
Not to worry. But Jesus Christ, like,
what are you doing?
I just love how it's just like the best way to really show the absurdity of the size of a ship is just like, oh, here's a fictional spaceship that everyone thinks is fucking massive and just pales in comparison to something like the Evergreen. But yeah, that's my thing. Tatsu, are you gonna join us for golf with your friends? Ding donk. There's Tatsu. You don't own the game? Damn. As someone who sucks all the chocolate out of my Tim Tams, I can say with 100% certainty that is indeed a creme inside. Do I need to pull up the image? Cause like...
Remember when this was a golf stream?
It's still a golf stream. We can do another game. We'll be playing in the forest this time. I just was keeping it. Hi there, passenger. Welcome to the stream. Hey, passenger. Do you want to play golf with friends? It only needs to be a giant metal square to float over the ocean. Sure, I'll be a friend. Nice. All right, invite. Apparently,
which platform?
We're on Steam right now. So, oh, and once again, Grant's Pox drew my hot chocolate kobold. What? I do not know what that means. All right, so it's just Grant's lobby, and the password is Himbo Fun. I don't know how to get it. Darn. All right, hang on. How is this like? How do they not give me a way of like filtering it based off of like friends in game now, friends who have recently played it? We got.
Uh-oh. I didn't mean to press that.
There's two different people playing Final Fantasy 14. How isn't there a way to like just be like, oh, like, because you can see it in the store page, for instance. Like if I go back to like Steam, it will give me a list of like, oh, people that have recently played a golf with your friends. Ooh, hang on. Invite to game. I can just invite them from here. Last online 18 hours ago. Invite to game. Invite to game. Just gonna send an invite to fucking everyone in this list. Spike is doing seasonal events. View all friends who play. Okay, so there is a way. Ah! It's my kobold that I created that's made out of Aztec hot chocolate. Ah, okay, okay, okay. Last 2 weeks. Dink. What server? There's a server region?
Yeah, it would be Australia.
I didn't like, what? That's a thing? Didn't tell me about server regions. This is all new to me. I don't want to like get out of this because I'm like a little bit worried. Also,
Hey.
there we go. Hey, just the passenger is now in. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Alrighty. Let's get a game started while there's 4 of us, I say. Because otherwise,
Get your game on.
otherwise I'm probably gonna like berate someone over the bastardization of food across America and how it's like, you know, an overall good thing. No, okay, damn. All right, this is a much calmer sort of golf course than what's Mahoozies. Also, did you say something, Morse?
Just someone like just barely was outside the hole there.
Okay. Nice. Why is this game $22? Oh, go to the Humble Bundle store. It's like $10 or less on the Humble Bundle store. Team 17 is kind of fucked up because of the whole NFT nonsense, so I imagine they're, you know, minimalizing the, Okay, hang on. So, Alright, so we want to drop into it. Alright, here we go, and... boom. Car.
Not far. Double bogey.
Raise the volume of my headphones, lower the volume of the application. Unless, did I raise the volume? Alright. Hang on. Help and options. Audio. There we go. Whoop. There we go.
We all just get 2.
Most of us, yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, so it's gonna be a bit of a...
Uh-huh.
Oh, there we go, Morse.
Damn it.
I hit it.
Oh! I did it too! Someone clip this. I love the little hat that Passenger has on their golf ball. It's cool. Oh, nice work.
What are you doing?
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Damn.
here we go. Precision. Oh! Oh! That almost worked. Oh. You get Morse.
I can't fight my nature. I'm back to shitting it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Okay, here we go, here we go. Dun and dunk. Think. Ah, goddamn you. Par. I'll take that.
Ah.
Oof. Oh, okay. Oh,
For
no.
beeps as well.
Oh, Passenger.
You missed the first shot I made though.
Thank you,
Good
Izzy,
God.
for the clip. I appreciate it. So, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hole in one, baby!
Oh, check it. Hole in one.
Oh, yeah, nice. One hole, gang. Let's go.
One hole's a goal.
Okay. 3, 2,
There we go.
bonk, bonk. Oh, yes. Okay, cool.
Birdie.
Oh, ah,
Now I'm cooking.
par. I'm still ahead of you. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. So, oh, is this it for Passenger? Is this a par for Passenger? Oh.
Oh. Iggy. Stop that.
Iggy.
Oh, okay.
I already hit this hole.
I think it's like this.
Yo.
Par. Nice. I almost forgot that I didn't have physics, like, collision turned on, so I was worried that there was going to be a ball that just goes in and just goes bam and knocks me out of place.
All right.
Oh, okay. I see what happens. All right, let's see what happens. Bing, ding, dong. Ah, goddamn you! My plan failed me.
Damn. So did mine.
Damn it! All right.
There we go.
Ah, you mother. It's okay.
1 over par. Bogey.
Oh no! This is tragic. Oh no!
Surprised no one's done this yet.
Thank you for the hyper himbo cap.
Of course.
No, 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 no. Oh, you I ran out of strokes.
Hey, look at me! I'm in first place again. The
Ugh.
best at golf.
No! Oh, you. I wasted a birdie. Ah.
Yeah, no, I didn't do too hot either.
Okay. All right. I'm still winning by 2.
No, you're not.
Oh, god damn it. All right. So it's this one. Damn it, 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 darn it. No! No! Oh, you... Oh. Do this. I need to calm down. I can't handle when I'm losing this bad. Nope, 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 nope. No.
That's good, that's good. That's not.
Oh.
No! Oh, you. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Ah, gosh. The temptation to just be like, oh yeah, let's just go, like,
Birdie.
forfeit a hole. I'm just gonna finish with a penalty of 2 strokes.
Sorry.
I can't. Yeah, my man's getting tilted on mini golf. Listen, when you do so well at the start, but then you fuck it up at the end, it will tilt anyone.
Better to be worse at the start, like me.
You had to start off bad. Problem solved. Oh god. Okay. Well, I can work with that.
I can work with this, I can work with this, I can work with this.
This is good. I like this. Birdie.
Par. I'll accept par. Oh, I'm so...
Oh. Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, it gives me the maximum number of strokes in a 2. Okay, that's... Okay, so yeah, I probably should have still attempted, I see. Golf brings out the worst in me, I think.
Really, it is the most toxic game.
This, like that. Damn.
Like this, like that, like this, like that.
And not like that.
Oh!
What are you doing, bud? He's sitting on the desk next to me.
I wonder if someone has like done a guide of like, oh, here's how you do a hole-in-one in forest.
Probably.
Unlike every single one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Alrighty. No,
What you know
no, no, no,
about
no, no,
getting
no,
caught?
no. Oh, you. Oh, no, 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 no. Come on, move. No, no. Come on. There we go. Oh, oh, you. What do you mean fine with a bogey? Ding. Event details. Share. Copy link.
Truly, I am the greatest golfer there ever was.
The greatest. Good for you.
The greatest golfer that's ever lived.
Alright, why can't I... Oop. Wait, did the game end, or...
Yeah, that was the last hole.
Oh! Also, where's Telegram? There's Telegram. Sorry, I just need to send a ding, dong. Playing right now.
Hey, bud.
Alright, so we got a passenger. We might have another person coming in. We might have another person being able to join in on the game, which would be great. Hi there, Wolf Zeta as well. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. Alrighty. Ah, damn. I tried clicking on a game that a map that I didn't have. So do we want to do... So yeah, we already did Volcano. Do we want to do Haunted? See how we go there?
Ooh, very nice.
So,
Down with that.
Oop, what was that message? Friends? What was that? Ah, friend request, yes. I will accept that. Friend request, thank you very much. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Could be due to the rules. Hi there, Emu Fur. Welcome to the stream. Would you like to join in on a game of golf with friends? There's also a VC, so if you're feeling comfortable, like, dropping into here, because can we get a shout out for Emu Fur?
I got it.
Thank you. But you're not a moderator.
Shit, I forgot.
Emu Fur, as it says on the tin, is a Melbourne-based furry artist. She is responsible for, like, some of the cool arts that you will see around in the different Australian circles, and probably, like, the easiest... Is she responsible? Okay, maybe not responsible, but she has a style. And one of the things that she's done is the biblically accurate, boob field. I think I sent this
I forgot I wasn't on code stream.
Yeah, nah, you're not. You're on my stream. I don't have that many moderators. I don't get that many people in my chat, so half the time I'm still moderating for myself. Yeah.
I just bullied my way into moderator status, so...
No, that's fair. I'm fine with that. To do rules after joining. Possibly because of that. I joined, but you have the sniffles today. Not to worry, passenger. It's not a requirement to be in the VC or anything like that. Yeah, the VC is like reserved for fellow streamers and friends kind of thing. So, and if you don't want to be in it, that's okay. It's not a requirement or anything.
It feels so fucking massive because it's just set to the full space of the display.
Alright, there they are.
Hey,
Hello.
there we go.
Hello,
Hello.
welcome.
Monkey. Monkey. Monkey.
Golf.
Some golf.
Golf.
Yes, because Monkey play golf with a zebra,
Monkey play
a
golf?
bunny, and
A hellish creature.
Purple. Yeah.
purple. Yep.
Purple.
Cap-
Furry purple.
Purple creature.
Yep. Alrighty. So, do you know how to join in on the golf with friends thingamajiggy via the lobby and what have you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hang. I'll watch some Twitch with you guys, and then.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right. Let me
Oh.
hang on. Let me see if I can get the thing streaming into the thing, so then that way you don't have like all kinds of. So wait, did you ever have golf with your friends or?
No.
It was all a clever ploy.
It's a
just
clever
boy to hang
ploy.
out with you. Oh no.
How dare.
Damn it!
It's time to play in the spooky mansion. Oh, so spooky. I shit
spooky.
myself in
Vanish.
fear.
What? Oh, and then they jumped right back into stream. What?
Hello.
That makes no sense. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Damn.
Cookie for Jason. Here's your cookie, Jason.
Cookie for Jason.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Why is my
Ooh.
okay? Most of ours are glowing if you don't have like a little thingy-majiggy. I see. You have got golf with friends. Excellent. Alrighty. I'm gonna need to.
Also, Grant, do you see my horn?
Oh, we've all seen your horn.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's
Put it
have a
on because
look.
I'm always horny.
All right.
The way you said "all right," I almost thought you were just like, "Yep, done with you. You're banned."
a little bit as I now like put so much of my focus into getting in the hole.
Oh.
Shit.
Hey, Beavis. Grant said
Bam.
hole.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh, crazy. All right. Yep, I am now above. Oh, jeez. What is happening with emus like Discord? I wonder. It's like
They have
jumping in
issues.
and out and what have you.
Maybe they're having connection issues.
Possibly.
Oh, I could have made that.
Birdie, baby.
No, gosh darn you.
Wobble bird.
Bogey. Darn. I'm falling behind. I don't think there's any, like, thingamadiggies that would keep him out, would there? Alright. Where's my...
Oh, okay. There's a lot of stuff coming.
Where the fuck is the hole?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
Bam! Oh. Yeah, no, color me confused.
Oh boy.
Color me confused.
Color me gonna tank this one hard.
Oop.
Yeah.
Come on, just go a little further. There we go. Oh, hi, Sashera.
Yeah.
No, it's alright if you slept in.
Sash.
Oh, you...
Did you
It's
see that
alright if you
parkour
slept
there?
in. We kind of stayed up until 1 a.m. talking about the thingamadoogies. Alright, looks like... Bam.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
god, there we go. Oh,
Third time's a charm.
what the fuck?
Do you use Discord often?
No.
It's it most likely decided to be like, oh hey, we have some background updates we're going to apply. Don't mind that we apply them, and then they just, you know, fuck that up. I do not like programs that decide to just update in the background. I do appreciate it sometimes with applications like Slack, for instance, where it does it like just before you start the application. But if it's a case of, oh, we're just gonna do it halfway through.
I've never had Discord do that to me.
No,
Beats
it happened
is
to
suffering
me.
right now.
Yeah.
I just could not get over the table.
It happened to me like twice, I think, last night. But last night there was like all kinds of DirectX issues going off. So it was one of those. Okay, so. Oh, hang on. So.
Ride the lightning.
Golf. Let's golf.
No.
Golf it.
Basically starting in the exact same place.
Ride
as
the
last
lightning.
time.
Oh!
Oh, I am schmovin'.
Moving.
Schmovin'.
Even-
Birdie,
Oh,
baby.
God.
I'm the best at golf.
Yeet me into the fire, please.
The greatest golfer that ever lived.
Just gonna angle myself a little bit more, and then go for the big hit. There we go.
Ah!
Now you're thinking with portals.
So yeah, I'm like 3 over par, but that's fine. Alrighty.
I've taken my rightful place.
Hi there, Ezzy Fox. Welcome to the stream. Would you like to join us for a game of golf with your friends? I have no clue where this is gonna. Oh no 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 no.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Bonk. Oh. Just gonna.
And I've got par.
No, oh, you. Yeah, nah. I think sports games are just the ones that are gonna, like, really rustle me jimmies.
You need to find a wrestling game to put those muscles to use or something.
Nah. Nah, just.
They're just for show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so WWE.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, brother, it's me, GrantZeebs, yeah. Dig it!
Alright.
Hulk Hogan, yeah.
Cream
Macho
rises to the
Man.
top.
Is he still alive?
Hulk Hogan's
No, I
Hulk
think he's
Hogan's
dead.
alive, but Macho Man has ascended to the astral plane,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, he's dead.
I got a bogey.
Oh, this is terrible.
I'm having a skill issue, yeah.
Double.
I gotta get myself out of the Hulk Hogan voice, the Macho Man voice, because I will continue it for an hour if I don't resist
Keep going.
temptation.
Keep going. No,
Understandable.
just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Go on.
Yeah, I love doing the Hulkamania voice, but it's not Hulkamania, it's Macho Man, and I like to slap into a Slim Jim. Yeah.
Man, you sound like Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, and then
Oh, God.
I'll
I
take
hate
par.
this.
Yeah.
Nope. Look back here now. Oh, there's a creepy doll head back here.
It's a haunted house. It's a haunted golf
I know,
course.
but I don't like it.
It's a haunted house. You're gonna find haunted shit.
Randy, there's a cow outside.
It's cow farm. Good old hot cows outside.
How far behind? Okay, yeah, that's what I figured.
Well, let's see.
Grant, why are your nipples white? Asking for a friend.
Because I was uncomfortable going with the original wool, like, black nipples, because they're quite large.
Oh, so we're going with the safe nipples.
Yes.
The safe for work nipples.
Yes. Granted, I have the male buff where it's like, oh, they're not female presenting nipples, so I get to just say fuck
Baby
you.
feeding nipples, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why I'm not allowed to suck on them? That's
Yeah.
a shame.
There's
No.
no only chocolate comes out of the male nipples if you knew that.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm learning so much today.
This is
Yeah.
this is some crazy like physics lore from Emu. It's like, yeah, the male nipples are the chocolate milk ones.
Does that mean
The
trans
flavor.
women have chocolate milk titties?
I guess so. I like to do.
Oh boy, what has he done now?
Okay,
Something just fell over. I'll be right back.
hang ding dong. Let me see if I can just invite Sasha. Oh no, I can only invite to like watch the game and such. So. Oh, yeah. This is such a terrible hole. There's so many spots. Dink, donk. So many over. Oh, am I the last one? Oh, you bastard.
I like the skeletons just chilling, hanging out.
Yeah. Oh, Emu. Which sounds more incorrect? The inside of a Tim Tam has wafer, or the inside of the Tim Tam has cream?
Is it biscuit and icing?
So yeah, so those are your two options, wafer or cream. Which one sounds...
But it's a biscuit with icing in the middle. That's the ingredients.
Yep.
Why did we change the ingredients?
We didn't change the ingredients.
There's no wafer.
Blue Foxy Nicey Icy. We were having a discussion last night. And it was like somehow we got onto the Tim Tam or something. And I said the incorrect like filling being like, oh yeah, like with the wafer. And yeah, but here's the thing. Blue corrected me with, oh no, it's not wafer, it's cream. Now, like, it just sounds more wrong in my head.
I think you're both wrong, and you need to accept that.
Yeah!
It's a biscuit with icing.
So I need to send you an image that Sashera has, gracefully done for us in this conversation. That, Blue later did a poll, because Blue wants to be right of, oh, which one of the two sounds more correct, the wafer or the cream, and it's just
It's a cream like
you don't want a
inside
donut
with a lot
fuck.
of creams. It's not cream. It's not cream.
It's not cream, but yeah,
It's not cream,
you understand
it's
it's
icing.
not cream. But the thing is that like
It's not wafers either. You're also wrong. You're
yeah,
both
but
wrong.
like, who's
That's
more
okay.
wrong?
Both.
That's okay. You can both be wrong.
Yeah,
It's
but
okay to both be wrong. Don't be upset. It's okay. You're not going to get in trouble.
I know.
Well, I mean,
I'm accepting being wrong,
Maybe.
but I don't want Blue thinking, oh, he's in the right for calling it cream.
Oh, and I can see the comments are getting heated. My goodness. I didn't even know this was such a big thing.
It's not really. All right, hang on. Do I have to like go under the? Oh, nope. Okay, where's the? Okay. This is an annoying one to deal with.
I like how the spooky music just loops and loops and loops. It's really good. Really puts me in the mood.
Puts you in the mood for a spooky house of like, oh, let's go buy a home that's had 8 murders in it. The price will be so cheap.
Honestly, I'm down.
Honestly, with the Australian housing market, I'd go for it.
Let's all live in the spooky house. I don't care if there's still bloodstains. Hate
It's
over.
probably still going to cost $1 million.
Yeah, hauntings. That's okay. Cheap. Just making like porridge in the morning, and you just get like a haunting in the bathroom. You're like, it's cheap. It's fine.
Yep.
The ghosts are going to have to fight me for a cheap house. I fear no ghosts. I fear realtors.
Okay, I'm here to join game, but also to say that you're both incorrect. It's biscuit and cream because it's the same consistency of cream that is inside assorted creams.
It is not.
It is. As someone who sucks all of the chocolate off the outside of a Tim Tam that eats the biscuit and then the cream, I'm
Look,
telling you, you're wrong.
That is the wrong way to eat Tim Tam. You want to know how you eat Tim Tam?
You bite one quarter, the other quarter, sip coffee through it, and then eat it all. at once.
Perfect.
Coffee.
Actually, absolutely.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
But yeah, like
Let me
here's the thing: is that Blue is trying oh so hard. Like I've given you the visual, by the by, Emu. Check your DM so you understand like what because Sash drew that.
I don't
Sash
understand how there's 17 votes and it's still pretty much 50-50 on the left.
because they're both wrong. We're both wrong. Blue seems
God,
to
I'm
think
so
he's in the right for saying it's cream, but we're both wrong. It's
icing.
But it's literally on the description as green.
It is cream.
Description lies.
So hear me out, Emu. When you get an assorted creams from Arnott's, is the cream on the inside not the same consistency as the cream that is inside a Tim Tam?
no.
The outside's chocolate.
It
The outside,
is.
the outside,
Oh, I'm so cooked. I am so cooked.
and then the inside's icing.
No, the inside is cream.
Icing.
I will
Grant, how do I find the
I
lobby?
agree that it's a biscuit because it
How
is
do
a
you find the
it's not a
what?
wafer.
The lobby. I can't find the lobby to get in.
It's just
Oh,
GrantZeebs lobby, and then the password
Yeah,
is.
I know, but which region?
There's regions?
Regions!
I don't fucking Australia
Looking at
or
Australia.
Oceania?
I'm looking at Australia and there's no...
Okay, I'm gonna have to make this
Oh
all
my
over
God.
again, aren't I?
I'm sorry.
It could
I
be.
need-
It could be because of the case that we're in the middle of a game right now, trying to get through the holes and everything.
Well, that's alright, I'll wait until thing.
Yep.
I mean, if you wait, that gives me time to download the game too because I just bought it.
It also
I'm
gives me
cooked.
time to
I'm-
spend money. I mean, what?
Yep.
What?
Look, there's a fox hat. I kinda have to.
Oh,
Sounds good.
you were furry. Damn.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm cooked. I can't believe this.
Oh yes. Par.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Like, look, we're all furries. Me, GrantZeebs, a himbo zebra, Tatsu, a kobold, Sashera, a fox, Morse, a rabbit, Emu, a monkey, and Cap, purple.
You
I
call me a
don't know.
kobold, but currently I'm a big titty Gyaru lady.
I can be two different flavors of purple. Hold on.
Purple's a
I'll
furry.
change. I will change to my kobold just so you're correct.
Nice.
But also
Oh, for fuck's sake.
from the official Audit's website, with a unique combination of biscuit, cream filling, and chocolate coating. Official Audit's website.
We did bring that up last night, Tatsu, and still no.
It's true. It's a cream filling.
Like Uno trying to say you can't stack on draw 2s and 4s.
Come on.
This is a food like Rafina. This is a food. This is a game rules. This is food.
Tatsu, you should watch the VOD from last night if you haven't seen it, because it was
I
fucking
haven't. I
hilarious.
gotta watch it.
Just got a call from
It was
Arnott.
so fucking funny.
Yeah, I got a call from Arnott. So, Grant, they fucking hate you. They say you're so wrong. They say you're so wrong.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with being wrong about the
they officially
wafer.
banned you. You're not allowed. to
I'm
eat anything.
fine with
Okay.
being
I'm not allowed to
wrong.
have cookies anymore.
You're not allowed to
Yeah,
have them.
I'll wait.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, Grant, but now that I know that you were the one that was saying it was a wafer on the inside, I'm sorry, we can't be friends.
Look, I'm fine with being wrong. I just refuse for Blue to say he's right about the cream.
It is cream, though. I'm telling you, as someone who wanted to be a chef, it's cream.
But you want to be a chef, not a
Yeah, we
baker.
got-
But
did tell you
Tatsu Twitter
once.
disagrees. It's like 40% of people say it's a wafer.
Yeah,
That's
because
the funny part.
yeah,
It's
because
not a wafer.
well,
Wafers
here's
have
look at
multiple
Twitter.
layers.
Look, I hate to
Wafers
break
have
it to
multiple
you.
layers.
the internet is filled with fucking degenerates. You tell someone it's filled with cream, they're not gonna think of like, you know, the 12 different creams and apply the the correct consistency. They're gonna hear cream and they're gonna put it in the same cream that you find in a Twinkie or a cream
Yeah.
pie. They're going to think of the consistency of cream, not
Also,
oh
I'm
French
special.
cream.
I'm special and different, okay? And mine's right.
Can we all agree that Twinkie sucks?
Yeah,
I've never had a Twinkie and I
Never had
never
one.
loved you.
That's,
I had one, and yeah, I agree. I had it, and I was like, oh, I sure could have eaten anything else. Okay,
Yeah,
puts it in the bin.
You see, I hear Americans be like, yo, Twinkies are one of the best sweets, and then I look at it and I'm like, there's just a mouthful of sugar.
yeah.
Most Americans
okay,
think
that is a very
Hershey's is
American
the
thing
best
to like.
chocolate, and that's a fucking lie.
Sorry?
It just
What?
Crunchies.
Crunchies?
Crunchies.
Oh,
What?
God.
Crunchies.
Grant, have I shown you this flavor of Hershey's?
Hershey.
Oh, Hershey's.
Oh, Hershey's is terrible.
Hershey's
Most
is
Americans
very
think Hershey's
processed.
is the bomb.
Yeah, Hershey's
it's
is only
not.
good for when it has to be applied to other like things, but not in a culinary sense. And it's like
It's not
actual
like-
chocolates.
I like the Hershey's cookies and cream bars. Those are fucking delicious.
Actually,
But again, it's
There's
not
no
just straight
chocolate.
chocolate.
while
It's
Passenger is
Hershey's
fucking
chocolate.
up, I'm gonna get my favorite. This is my favorite American like confectionery. Hang on
Oh.
a second.
You know what I will say though? Hershey's Kisses are pretty good.
Yeah, but
they
that's,
They
that's
taste
in
like
moderation.
cheese. They taste like cheese. I tell you what though, I do want a Tim Tam.
Hold on.
unironically.
The fuck you mean Hershey's Kisses taste like cheese?
Tastes like cheese.
They
Tastes
don't
like
taste
cheese.
like cheese.
I think they make a similar acid from the cheese, like to preserve the chocolate.
Yes, that's it.
Also, it's the preservative you taste, not the chocolate.
The
Yeah.
cheese preservative.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
I know. I just got given it to me once, and I was like, "Oh, it just tastes like parmesan." I don't.
Someone
Parmesan?
bamboo. Emu, you probably got like roofied or some shit, and your body just objected
What?
to it.
Roofie? No.
I cannot imagine a Hershey's Kisses sound tasting like cheese poison to you.
It tastes like parmesan
Cheese
cheese.
was-
The only kind of cheese I could imagine maybe it tasting like is like a cream cheese, because I imagine like cheesecake, but even
It's
then
not
that's
bad.
like I'm pushing it.
It's like that acidic flavor you get with parmesan cheese or really strong cheases. It's got that
Parmesan cheese
acidity.
doesn't have an acidic taste.
I mean, it does when you have it in high enough quantities.
Yeah, if you have like proper, not the
Are
powdered
you
stuff.
just biting into a block of fucking parmesan? My god.
Yes.
I'm
delicious.
imagining
We're
Emu
white
would go
people.
that far.
Of course we are.
Of course. Why not?
That's not how you meant to have parmesan. You're not meant to just take a chunk out of it.
Have you had good parmesan? You gotta take a chunk out of a good
Yeah,
parmesan.
you-
No.
can't have
If you're gonna,
shitty
if you
parmesan.
want good parmesan, you still need to shave it. You don't.
Yeah.
No,
don't
you
just
could
bite a chunk.
you could bite Parmigiano Reggiano and it'd be tasty.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Okay, well now as
You
these
can-
just,
you can
just
bite
going
any
all
kind of
in
cheese you
and saying
want
what
if you
would
want
happen
to.
if you made cheese out of Hershey's.
Actually, it's a wafer.
A wafer of cheese? Delicious.
It's actually a wafer, and the filling is cream.
Grant, you need to use
When
more
we think
math.
about it,
That's what they
cheese
call
is
it,
just
cream
a loaf
cheese.
of milk.
Yeah.
It's
I need
true.
to
It is a
what?
loaf of milk.
You need to
Yeah,
use more math.
Loaf of milk.
Oh man.
Grant's so tilted he's like way behind everybody else.
The golf is math. It's angles-
We're playing mind games with him.
angles
We're
of
playing mind
interaction.
games.
It's true. It's the only way that I can try to catch up.
45-degree angle. 45-degree angle, Brett.
Do you think would it be cunty of me to actually Uber eat some Tim Tams?
No. I would love.
I want you
In fact,
to
you can
buy a
probably prove
packet
it's
of.
all wrong.
I want you to buy a packet of Tim Tams, split
okay.
it in half, and tell me that's not the same kind of cream that's inside of cream all sorts.
No, I'll just
I
eat
think
them
cream
all.
all sorts. Cream all sorts just means variety. You're gonna have to be specific with the biscuit. They all have names.
Like the
Regularly.
plain one with like the white cream in the middle.
Lou's gonna come back into this voice chat and be like, "Are you seriously fucking starting this shit again?"
Ah shit.
Can't wait.
I got DC'd.
That'll teach you.
Just maybe as a treat, I could just buy maybe some Tim Tams.
Which Tim Tams are you gonna buy? Which flavor?
I might get like, well, because I'm gonna go all out like the crazy girly pop I am. I might get multiple packs and multiple.
Hey, let's fucking go.
Okay, but
I think that's
why
God
not?
telling me that I have to go.
Oh my
Or should
god.
I just be? Oh my god! Yes, I'm going. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hop off and I don't know,
Get
And
some
not have
get
Tim
some
Tams?
Parmesan.
Okay.
probably. Yeah, I haven't eaten all day. Oh, yes,
What?
it
I
is.
should-
As a matter of fact,
that
that might be a contributing factor to why I had a migraine yesterday.
Do you think?
Same.
I could do it.
Should
So
I get
I'll head out.
Should I
All
get
right.
pods?
Oh no!
Alright.
Come on! Oh, you.
See yous.
See ya.
Okay, but I'm not seeing Tim's hams, but I am seeing pods.
Pods is not
Pods?
the same.
No, but they're pretty good.
Okay, yeah, no, they're
Pretty
good. Here's
Yeah, they're not the same though. I absolutely agree.
All right, question then. Are you more of an aficionado for the Mars or for the Snickers pods?
It's all corporate. I don't mind.
All right, fair enough. That's it. No, honestly, that's a good take considering like we live in an age where Kmart and Target is the same store.
They're
Like-
both red.
Yeah, they're. Where
They're
the
both
fuck
red.
is the? Oh, I'm not gonna make that, am I? Oh,
Healthy
two.
snacks.
No, are you kidding me?
Okay, so you can't get Tim Tams at 7-Eleven on Uber.
Try Coles Express.
Oh no, yeah, I think I'll have to go that way. $8 for Tim Tams? Oh my god.
No.
No.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god, I get the double cheeseburger. I am going to. Alright, hang on a second.
Burger.
Double cheeseburger. Look at
Cheeseburger.
There's the lobby.
Have you not seen such an American golf ball? The fucking double cheeseburger.
Excuse me.
Look at it. It's just. Ah. Any whoosies. The chocolate thing from America that I really love is the Reese's peanut butter cups.
Reese's
my God.
cups. Reese's cups.
Beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. Reese's puff, Reese's puff.
Oh my god. Okay, so I did the Coles one. There is chewy caramel, dark chocolate, white chocolate.
Chocolate.
That's chocolate. I know, I'm really craving some garbage.
Fair enough, fair enough.
God, it's not.
But
Okay.
is this just mouse controls? Because I never actually fucking played this.
Yeah, there's mouse. You can just use mouse controls. It's literally just you hold the left click and you like push in direction you want to push it to, and the further away from the further the distance of the click and the hold, like distance wise, then the more powerful the shot.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go for Oasis. So yeah, how's it going on your side, Tatsu?
I think Tatsu might have gone AFK.
Ah, okay, all right.
We were talking about Tim Tams.
Hi, Sir Dragon.
Oh, let's like be real though. The double coated Tim Tams. That's it. That's all you need. They're the best ones. They are the. What is it? It's Tim Tam, but more. You're like, yes.
I accept it. Yeah.
All right.
Like it's, I don't like. What am I gonna say? Oh no, it's shit. There's too much. It's not fucking Rocky Road. It's a nice modular like increase.
Should I pay $20 for Tim Tams on Uber Eats?
Is it $20 just for one packet?
One packet.
No.
And shipping and GST.
It is not worth it. Like maybe it.
That is so bad.
If there were other things, like if you had like maybe 3 items and then it was $20, yeah, sure, that's for the convenience sake, but no, that's some like, international travel bullshit.
I just like the thought of the like delivery person being like, "UK?" And I'm like, "Thank you."
It's at that point that you have the rainbow-colored "I'm can enough" hoodie with the sweatpants and the tissue box. You just really ham it in that, oh, you should not be leaving, either emotionally or physically.
Oh, I just have a dead inside jumper. I could just wear that.
That could work.
My brother is slack. He made the rest of my family a sandwich, but not me.
Yum.
And I had to use frozen bread because he used the rest of the other bread.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I always use frozen bread. Is that weird?
No, you're in Australia. Wait, Tatsu, are you in Australia right now?
Yeah, I've always been in Australia. Never left it.
I am absolutely terrible in remembering where people are from where.
I know, I remember because we were in a VC with Dazzy and I talked about Australia and you're like, wait, Tasha, you're from Australia? I was like, yeah, I mentioned this to you like 2 months ago. And you're like, oh, okay.
Alright, well, let me reset the clock now. Let's see how long I remember Tatsu is from Australia. Because as far as alright, so Tatsu is somewhere in Australia. Sashera is over in West Coast, aka the
Go on, say it.
the Arizona of Australia, or maybe Colorado. Meanwhile,
I'm from New South
Morse is
Oh,
somewhere else.
Definitely somewhere.
Definitely
We don't talk about
somewhere.
That's true,
The
talking
Rhode
about biggest
Island of
network.
the world. And then Emu is
I'm on
actually
photos.
in Victoria, because it mentioned it in your like little Twitch thingamadiggy of like, yeah, you're
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
I do have a mullet. I am a cunt with coffee. I know.
I love this. I will
Alright.
come to Melbourne just to have coffee.
As you are a native
Yeah.
Melbourneite,
Melburnian.
Melburnian, sorry.
WA, rise up, Sir Dragon, let's go.
Let's
So
go.
I think that New South Wales and Victoria is basically the Boston and Massachusetts of Australia. Which do you think is the Massachusetts, and which one do you think is the New York?
Oh, well,
I'm sorry.
do you know what's great? I know.
Melbourne's New York.
Oh, I always see Melbourne as Toronto.
I'm sorry to say, but if you were to ask my family, Victoria is the Mexico of Australia.
No.
It's
The
cold
Mexico
here.
of Australia is New South Wales. It's an entirely different country.
It's got beautiful outback though. I love going to New South Wales for camping. Absolutely
That's so good.
gorgeous.
All right,
Yeah,
so
really
from the
good.
sounds of it, New South Wales might be the New York, because New York has actually like good like everyone thinks New York is only the city, like the Manhattan Island. It's like no. It's actually fairly big. It's one of the 13 colonies. It actually has mass. Massachusetts is just a little bit smaller. So
Australia, I just see it Melbourne as Toronto. It's like not quite. It's just like a bootleg, but it's a nice city-ish. It's fine.
yeah.
Was it you or Toxie who was originally from the States?
Oh, Toxie.
Toxie was, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, like by weird coincidence, Toxie like grew up in the same city I currently live in.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's crazy. Whoa. I
You like
remember
this, Tatsu?
I'm connecting.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
connecting. Yeah, I remember Toxie actually
Well, Tatsu
introduced
does
me
that.
to like
I'm getting water.
she introduced me to like the American like coffee drink flavors, like the sweetener stuff, like pumpkin spice.
Oh, okay.
It's a very acquired taste. it's not bad, but that corn syrup,
No.
it hit different. It hit real different. It's not like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say ew, it's bad. It's like no, my palate goes, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, Z also mentioned how like everything in America is very sweet, and having
In a
grown up
weird
here,
way.
I don't notice it. Like I don't
Yeah.
realize.
It is very sweet in the United States, and I think the issue is that because it's predominantly, for some fucking reason, the U.S. government has like really fucked up farming and made it so that corn is the
Yeah.
incentive. But the thing is that not even all corn is like. Sorry, I just went through like an episode of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and he just went ham into corn, amazingly enough, and it's like did not know that like 60% of the corn is not suitable for Tatsu. You good?
There's something
That's suitable for Tatsu.
I wanted to try and open the options because the game is way too loud.
Yep. Fair enough. So, like, 60% of corn isn't even edible by people. Like, we've GMO'd
Mainly
the
like cattle feed.
Yeah. And what's even more is it's not a great cattle feed because, like, I remember someone was explaining, it's like, oh yeah, the cows are just, like, absolutely malnourished, but it's fine. They'll be dead in 6 months and turned into beef. And it's just like, America, why?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we have some issues.
Yeah, and it's just so, because it's like, America probably has like some of the biggest fucking like agricultural land. You can get away with making something other than corn.
Can we?
it's easy to grow. It's just I just found it's not like a it's just a very bizarre sweetness. It's very weird.
Yeah, which I think
know, like, when
it's
you have-
fine with artificial shit like the pumpkin spice. Like, I'm gonna be real. If you're doing like all kinds of nonsense, yeah, then the corn syrup I think isn't too bad of a thing. But when it comes into, it's literally trying to become the sugar for Coca-Cola and some of the other stuff where the sweetness is the reason, like it's the prime, it's not the flavor.
It's you know, like MSG versus salt. It's kind of like got that contrast with me. So like when you have corn syrup, it tastes almost like MSG compared to regular sugar. It's just got this.
I'm just gonna say I'd probably hate it because I hate corn.
It doesn't taste. It's a very weird aftertaste corn.
Yeah. Although I do like corn though.
Oh yeah, like just regular ass corn. It's fine.
Yeah, it is.
It's fine.
Morning, Zerex.
I think I had way too much corn as a kid that my taste buds now it's like, ugh.
Oh really?
You could have. I don't know how it happens, but I have heard that sometimes people will they'll go through like huge amounts of like one kind of food or something like that in their developing years, but then they develop an allergy towards it. And it's for like things like strawberries.
That happened to my brother with crab and seafood. He loved the shit out of anything laksa and crab and everything. And then one day he was eating it and he's like, my hands are itchy.
Oh.
I'm itchy. I'm like, you're all red. And yeah, he became allergic to seafood because he just ate the shit out of it.
Yeah. I remember my mom, granted, she's like only like 50 kilos light and shit like that. And looking at me being 140 kilos, I think she does not like that I'm overweight and shit. She was very much like, you could be allergic to gluten. And I was just like, I think I would...
No, I had cookies.
I feel like I would know. You okay?
Yeah.
Looks at the bag of like 20 sandwiches I've had in the past week. I think I'd know if I'm gluten tolerant.
Yeah, I feel like I'd know if I developed celiac disease.
Yeah.
You say that, but my brother had no symptoms and he's full celiac.
Oh, straight up.
Oh my.
Did you just feel sick as shit one day, or was just like...
No, he was trying to investigate why he was like constantly tired.
Oh. Oh.
And it turns out he's like supposedly deathly allergic.
Really? I didn't know you
like had red all our lives. Like,
and he's like, oh shit, that's so interesting.
Oh, this is
the worst part, honestly, was the fact that he'd literally spent like the last 6 months learning how to make his own bread.
Oh no!
He's literally devastated.
Oh, that was terrible.
So like the fucking universe was went, okay, you're gonna learn this one skill, and I'm gonna fucking rip it away.
No way! I just told him on that.
Nice work, Sashara. You and I, hole-in-one club. Let's go.
I'm good. An average of 4. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm drawing a cow drinking pina colada right now for commission.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Okay, which way is the hole? That way.
So,
Oh, that was so close to only 2 hits.
oh, I just realized. Sorry, Emo. I just realized something. You're not the only monkey I know in Australia.
Is it Monkey Monk, the other monkey in Australia?
Persephores?
Oh, Percy's also a monkey too. So there's 2 now. We got Spunky. We got.
I also have a monkey.
We have 4 monkeys in Australia. Let's go.
Monkey gang.
I shall send you my monkey.
So, yeah.
I remember monkeys were like I became a monkey because it was funny because someone said unironically like I hate monkey sodas. They look like people and they're not cute and I think they're disgusting. I was like, I know what my soda's gonna be.
Yeah.
And now they're unironically kind of getting cool.
No.
Monkeys for me, it's like, sure, Planet of the Apes with like Caesar and what have you is great, and also Bad Ape was just such a great thing. But the problem is that I have seen like people use monkeys as like, oh, here's an alternate universe with like different Pokemon characters, and they went with like Narissi or what have you, like one of the only like, you know, dark skin in Pokemon trainers, and they made her a monkey, and it's just like, yeah, there's just historically like a long history of people just being this rude, and I'm like, oh man, I feel guilty.
Mine's just monkeys are always funny.
Oh, Tatsu! Holy shit!
Whoa.
What?
I almost got a hole in one.
Damn. Oh, god damn you. Oh.
Nice.
Holy
This one's
poop,
gonna-
I'll take that.
What if we held hands?
Oh!
As a treat.
Which one is this person?
It's kind of low power to get over the hill, honestly.
Yeah, but the problem is that if you've got like a distance, it's... Oh, no. Oh, no, you...
30 seconds.
Oh!
The worst part is if you miss, you spend like 20 seconds just slowly rolling backwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Oh, hey. Nice.
Oh my gosh. I was just
There
rushing.
you go.
I'm so far behind.
Oh my god. The hole's... What the? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that sucks. Ew.
Oh, you need to like...
Bounce it backwards, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna get bubble tea.
Bubble.
That could be my girly pop sweet drink.
Hey, yo.
My girly pop sweet drink.
What the...
I have sent you my monkey emu.
Alright, now I have to
No.
look at the screen.
No! Fuck.
I think I'm gonna get further back, so I'm gonna go back.
Oh, yo! Oh, yo! I love that. More monkeys.
Bruh.
What?
What are you meant to do this?
Just touch it real quick and go.
Make sure your ACs are working properly. Mine decided to have the temperature climb instead of lowering. Oh, damn. Unfortunately, I don't have an AC in this office. I have a fan. The AC, like, I don't know what it is about Australia being like, oh yeah, the AC will go in the living room. The room
No.
where we have the most windows and, like, sliding doors and everything. I'm like, you're
My living room has no windows.
an idiot.
Oh my god, I either bounce off or fucking fall short. There's no
I
way.
blew.
I did it.
Come on! This sucks!
No, I ran out of shots. Never mind.
Oh, Sasha's bowl has a little fox on the top.
Yeah. See, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm bouncing off the shit.
I'm deciding whether I do it or not. Should I do it?
What are you doing?
Blue it is cream.
Oh, yeah, vote in the poll. Blue very much does not want to be wrong, but the thing is we're both wrong.
And even Arnold says it's cream.
Arnott is having adjectives to the cream. There was no adjective when Blue said cream.
Oh my god.
You also have, but like I said, you can compare it to an assorted cream.
Okay,
And I got it 2 shots.
Blue. Blue. Blue.
Blue.
Blue.
Blue. Blue.
Would you say that the assorted creams from Arnott's is the same cream in a Tim Tam?
I say yes.
Give Blue a minute. He's gonna go to the Arnott's website. He's gonna do some culinary research across 8 years, compress it all, and be like, right. As my professional opinion, forklift certified. This.
I'm just gonna fucking launch it. That didn't work.
Where the... Oh, you gotta hit the pillar.
Yeah.
Oh, that is not the angle.
Wow. Okay, I went too far.
Oh, I hate when it, like, I do a light and then it just, like,
Hi,
deflects.
Grant.
Hi.
Oh, you gotta hit the left one, not the right one. Okay. Oh, never mind.
Double way more than the haunted house one.
Oh my god.
Come on, 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 come on. Aw, you bastard. There we go.
Hey, Sash.
You're doing all right, Sash.
We can turn on some of the horrible gremlin settings,
Yeah.
like the ability to hit other people's balls and stuff.
Oh, do you want me to
no.
turn that on for the next one?
Yeah, why not?
Sure. Let's add
Sounds
some
like a great
chaos to
time.
this.
Yep. Alrighty, sounds good.
Yay!
Alright.
As a low key, that's what I just tried to do to Satchel Seed.
You gremlin. Ooh, that's
Oh, I
gonna
don't
be
like
a.
this.
Ooh,
That's gonna be like this distance.
I don't reckon it's gonna be full power.
Nah, that's not even 3/4. That's
Ooh.
like half.
Birdie.
Wee! Oh, god damn it, I hit the wall.
Why did the guys go flying?
Let me in. Let me in.
Tatsu, roll along the wall. You gotta caress it. Be gentle. Gentle! Not that gentle!
Alright. Slowly but surely making my way.
Downtown.
Oh!
Hey, let's go.
Oh, it should not have been
Wow.
half.
Oh. I was gonna fuck launched.
No! Fuck.
That was enough.
No. Oh, thank God there's another wall there.
Yeah, I was worried that it was gonna be a real dick.
Ah!
I thought it was gonna be a real dick and decide to just be like, oh, there's not a wall there to protect you. Cookie for Bookie! Here's your cookie bookie. Alright.
I was doing okay in the beginning of the game, guys.
I got a hole in one, okay? I'm sitting here going, yeah, I'm cracking
Nice,
this. No, I
nice.
suck. This sucks.
So... Alright, fuck it. Balls.
Nope.
So I got a milk tea with Tim Tams in it.
Alright.
There we
That sounds pretty good, actually.
go. I know.
That actually sounds really good.
Yum.
Fuck, shit.
Fuck.
Oh. Like, shit, fuck, damn it.
Fucking shit.
No. Oh, no, this sucks. Oh my God.
Fucking do the Sash. Oh, I bet it.
Oh, come on.
I need passenger and beeps to Morse.
Fine. Beeps. Beep.
Series of beeps, and then you have Morse amalgam, and it's just like, why is there no consistency?
I know.
Oh, yay, water.
As a treat.
Oh, that is sand. Okay.
Wee.
Oh, fuck me.
Why is Tatsu bouncing?
Because I went through the water.
Because it said use left mouse to bounce in the water.
If I would have bounced correctly, I would have got it on top of the bridge. That's why I was trying to do it, and I bounced myself out.
Only you're a true gamer.
Oh, I bounced myself out again.
Okay, so let's just do power.
Oh,
And then boom. And there we go. There is
Oh my
hope.
God, I'm stuck. Somebody help.
There is hope for me
oh, I
yet.
was so close. I'm so sad.
Hi there, Ripper. Hey, Grant, I finally woke up. Lamau. It is 1 p.m. my time. My goodness, what is with Australians and their Saturdays?
To be fair, I think Ripper was up later than we were.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you're right.
Sash, I think you hit it a little too hard.
Kept awake until 8 a.m. by housemate drama. Ah, okay.
Sash still managed to get less.
I thought I was like, you know, ruining your evening when we told you that there's cream in the Tim Tam.
What the fuck is that flippy bullshit?
Not my monkeys, not my circus.
Not my monkey, not
okay.
my circus.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this at all. God, what the
Oh, that was so
fuck
close.
are you doing up there?
Oh, I need to be harder.
No, stop rolling back with that! Oh!
Oh, you.
Did it?
Oh no!
That
You
was really stupid.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh yes!
Ooh.
It took me 8 strokes. I'm so sad.
Oh,
9 strokes.
Jeez. No, what? I go back down to the water, fuck you!
Oh my god.
Sash, I believe
No.
No, stop. Oh my god, I just wasted a shot.
Oh.
Hey, that was better for you anyway, apparently.
Apparently.
Oh,
This
I got an idea.
sucks.
See if you can somehow do a bounce
Now
on the
we're all
wall.
watching you.
So like, do a hard hit into the wall and just time it so that. So when it's horizontal, when it's vertical like that.
I almost had it.
Almost.
Oh my god.
Where are we going?
That is the question.
Okay. The wall rises.
Oh, that is incredible.
What? Oh no, you're joking.
Oh, okay. Smarter than I am.
Breather than you can be, and you're smarter than you think.
There we go. Oh, damn it.
What?
Can you stop rolling, Ball, please? Ball?
Oh, you. Look at this.
Oh, no way.
That is bullshit.
That's a middle finger to you.
I'm fucked. I'm actually fucked.
Double bogey. There we go.
Fuck, I forgot to say it's lazy down a little.
Just go along the wall and then up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to time it so that it's when it comes up and I'm failing.
You need to do it when it goes like. Wait. Now. There you go.
Show off.
I'm just impressed that I was able to help time you for it, considering
Sorry.
Where the fuck am I?
you're on the other
Come
side.
on!
I was just impressed I was able to time it for you with like however long the delay is.
You got this, Ash, I believe.
Shush.
Also, it's worth you getting
This
the
is
fox.
embarrassing.
No, it's good. That you got the fox one. Then now that you're not doing so great, we can all watch the beautiful fox ball.
Yeah, we can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Majestic Fox.
There we go. You did it with 2 seconds remaining.
I am gumball.
A gum ball.
I'm still
Gum-
not.
I am
I'm still not
gumble
able to
ball.
crack the top 2.
Oh, that was so close. I was so close.
What is it? What is
You gotta
this
get into the mouth,
crazy
what we call
shot?
it. You gotta get into the mouth. Someone got this first try.
Right in the nose.
We're all friendly here. Let's get in the mouth.
Exactly.
Get in the Sphinx, Shinji.
There we go.
Oh.
Hey, Sash.
Stop. Oh, I fucking missed the shot!
No. Oh my god, that's annoying me.
Hey, guys.
Whee!
Hey, Sash.
Stop.
Oh god, we're at a temple now. Hi, Grant. That's
Hi. There we go, bogey.
Oh, fuck. I thought it was just
we
gonna
gotta
keep
do-
going.
huh?
Hey, Sash, you're doing pretty. Two. The trails like confuse me, Sash. I don't know how much power you're putting behind it.
Just a sec. Phone's calling. I'm just gonna mute myself for a while.
Not to worry.
Yay!
Sash, how did you still manage to get less shots than me? Every time.
I didn't.
I'm at 95 fucking points. God damn!
Where are we going?
Just go. That's all I'm gonna say is just go.
This looks like it sucks.
Oh, come on, no. Oh, no. I'm back at the beginning. I rolled all the way back to the beginning.
In the
Oh, no.
beginning.
In the beginning.
Nope, that's not the answer.
Oh my god.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Grant.
Hi, Morse.
I got a double bogey. You got the Sash, I believe.
Double bogey.
Bubble boy.
Fire hunt!
Ouchie? Fire ouchie?
God, this game is gonna be so different with collision on.
You're not wrong. Yay!
Nice work.
I've got like 102 points now. Yeah.
I'm in the same 70s as a lot of the others. All right, as the top two.
Oh, that was so close. That would have been so good. Apparently, I've already taken 100 shots. Oof.
Oh no, too much! Ah!
I keep hitting the fucking lantern thing.
Fuck you.
Go what? You
No!
fucking send it. Fucking send it.
Clip it if you can, Velk. But that last shot there was
What'd you
bullshit.
do?
I made like such a big leap. You'll see it in the clip. Because here's the thing: is I bounced on a pot instead of falling into it.
Oh,
So that got
that's
me.
what I did too.
Yep.
Yeah, just like banked off the
So yeah.
ramp and onto the pot. Yeah.
I would have gotten a birdie if I didn't put as much power into my third shot.
Oh.
So, which is annoying. Yeah, that birdie cost me my means of getting into second.
I'm winning, yeah, guys. I got the highest points. That's how you win golf, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I forgot that this is like.
No, Jesus.
Oh, that was so close, Sash.
Yay!
We did it, Sash.
No,
We were the first
no,
to finish
oh
this
my
bad.
god.
That is so fucking close.
That is. I'm just gonna move. No, not that far, not that far, not that far.
We just go,
Oh, you.
I just fell into the hole that you avoided.
And then.
Oh my god.
This area's so cool though.
It is.
It is, yeah.
I like how Grosh is worried a burger.
Oh, oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh darn it. Thank you, Velk, for doing the clip.
Oh no.
Man, like, my only saving grace is Morse fucking up so much, but like
On this one hole. Every other hole I've done so well, and then this one is just destroying me.
Just not your day.
Yep. Oh, here we are. Oh my goodness.
Hey.
Respectable.
Oh.
Gosh darn it. Every time I go to the next hole, I'm like, this is it. This is the hole in one.
Where
the
fuck?
where
Oh
are
my
we
god.
Going?
It's like side ramps.
Oh.
Fuck you, I'm a
Oh.
Whoa! Okay, what the fuck? Where are we? Where the fuck are we?
In Egypt.
Egypt, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, but we're like way off the fucking map.
Yeah. Hang on. Alrighty.
It's Egypt or the British Museum.
Full send. Oh no, I hit the pillar! Fuck!
Oh.
Whew.
Figure it.
Hi.
Wait, this is part of the course? Are you kidding me?
Par! Yes!
Come on!
Tatsu, you okay?
I got a double bogey.
Alright, let's see how Passenger does. Nah, this wouldn't get me into second place. It would be nice if it did, but I don't think it... Nah, it didn't.
Hey, let's
You're
go.
tied.
I got one, guys. 118 points.
Alrighty then.
Let's go.
Isn't it
Dude, I
weird?
got fucked on that one hole.
Mental,
How do I
now
put
we're into
hats on?
problem. Alrighty, so collision mode is now on.
How do you unlock more hats? Are they all just DLC?
Some of them are DLC, some of them are not.
Maximum shot per round 12, maximum time per round, max time penalty, max course length is 18, spawn position is default.
How do you get the non-DLC ones?
Money,
Playing the
money, money. Oh, you played the game.
Yeah, we're still playing the
Like
game.
I got a ice cream.
Oh.
I got nothing. All I've got is the headbanger hat.
I love how no matter what game you play, it's like, oh, there's a couple of silly little cute hats. Oh, I need those. They're really
Sash,
good.
Yeah.
Sash, you want to know what my floaty is?
Oh my goodness.
It's the dredge boat.
Nice.
Yeah, same.
Change the shape of the ball for the entirety of the course.
Oh, don't do the ball customization. Those are horrendous.
Alright, fine.
But they're funny.
Alright, so it's just only collision mode is turned on, and we're gonna go Candyland. We're gonna go something bright.
Hey, that's where I live. I'm made of candy.
Nice. Alrighty then. If you would like to join us, chat, pinned message says what the title is, Grant's Lobby. It's over in the Australia side, and the password is HimboFun. No spaces, all lowercase. Should be good.
No.
So yeah, should be good.
Hey, Groot.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I'm sorry about this, bud, but I'm a little cold.
No!
Look at what I'm wearing. I need a new shirt. My shirt don't cover my chest.
My brother in Christ, you picked the outfit.
I'm from Aztec.
This
I'm
is
an Aztec
this
person.
is fucking
This what we
bullshit.
wear.
I hate. Okay, this is Emu. Is it bullshit that Melbourne people complain about like cold weather when they just go around wearing nothing but short shorts and a jacket?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, we're not designed. It's
He
not.
was gonna steal the shirt too.
Hi there, Ripper.
Oh.
What's up, Ripper?
What's up, Ripper? I love how you're just in a Game Boy Color.
Right? Yep.
My what?
You're in a Game Boy Color.
Here you are.
Oh, I am too. Yay.
Yeah.
A
Don't
true
you?
gamer has entered.
Yes. I made sure to make it the see-through purple one because that's the best one.
Nice.
I've always wanted to get a Game Boy Color.
Okay. Whose general cupcake noises?
Well, it has to be someone in the Twitch channel, because otherwise they wouldn't. Yeah, it's Velk.
Oh,
That's
it's
a great name.
general
It's a
cupcake.
really good
Pretty
name.
good.
Alrighty.
That's a really good name.
Alright, we'll see how we go. So, as you will no doubt know, Velk, we have collision on, so balls will hit each other. They won't
Balls
pass.
to the walls.
They will, yeah.
I can finally hit Sash.
Why do you? Why?
Why not?
Chaos.
Damn.
Okay, but I'm more about the fact that he specified hit Sash.
Because
Oh,
I
look,
tried to hit you
wafers.
before and now I can.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Nope,
I
nope.
fucking went.
Just send it.
I sent it and it still didn't make it.
Oh, no! Wait, where's my hat?
You don't. Your little fox.
I must have
Sash?
accidentally off-clicked it.
Oh no.
Restart the game. Restart everything.
Are we, do we want to go that
Shit.
far? The key to avoiding collisions is get done with your swings as soon as you can. Sash, you know what you... Aww.
What?
I was gonna say, you know what you need to do. You need to hit Ripper.
No.
Because then what would happen?
I'm just
I
a
need
little
to
guy.
win.
Just a little guy.
Just a little guy.
I
still managed to get the most strength.
Oop.
I agree.
Oh my god, I'm just like hugging the fucking...
Damn it.
Man,
Oh, that's a
I am.
Pikachu?
Yeah, sure. I think it is. Yeah, it is. I am so on the catch-up train right now.
You good, Sash?
Tatsu hit me on the way over. Go in, go in, yay! Oh.
There we go.
Ripper, where are you going?
I'm going exploring. I'm looking for skulls.
I could have won much earlier, but I saw Shash and was like, I gotta hit.
Oh, I got a puff. I got a 4 and a part 2.
Here we go.
Wow. No. Ripped off. That was rip off.
I'm just gonna let you know I got at least 7 there, so 8 apparently. There we go.
Alrighty.
I
No,
haven't
fuck
played.
this. What the hell?
I haven't played golf with your friends since it came out, so I'm definitely rusty on this one.
Nope.
Oh no!
Oh, nice shot.
I take it we're gonna go up there.
Yo! Let's go. What? Great!
Where do I need to go? Okay, across to there.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Oh, okay, that's better, easier.
No, you...
Tatsu!
Oh, thank you, Tatsu.
Rude. Oh no!
I'm terrible at timing this stuff.
I do not have a feel for the power. It is not linear at all.
No, it's not.
It's really not.
There we go.
The last time I played a golf game, it was in VR, and I was the only one that can be blamed, so now I can blame everyone
Great went
else.
the long way. Girls like fuck trying to get it through the
Fuck,
hole.
yeah, I'm going the long way.
I put the flare on it, there we go.
Sash, did I fuck you up?
Nope.
Okay.
There we go. See
Don't
how
worry,
we
I'm
do.
still losing.
Oh, darn. Morse got him. Alright.
So you hear something before about like Morse also being called beeps?
There's
Yeah.
a series of beeps in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an absolute revelation that, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Morse code is nothing but a series of beeps like months ago, and it blew my mind.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
god, it is!
I
There
got
we
you,
go.
boss. Oh, never mind, boss. I got you, Sash. I got you, Sash.
You got me? Hell yeah.
hilariously, it actually went
That-
the other way around.
that
because
has
people
this-
used to call
Oh,
me
yo,
Beats.
Satsu, let's go!
I feel
Yo,
like your
Satsu,
whole-
let's go!
I feel like your whole Morse code. Oh, that's like it's just a series of beeps. That's the same sort of like.
Sash got into one shot, guys.
Yeah.
Nice work, Sash.
Yeah.
Can't believe I've done this for the second time already.
I
You're-
fucking got you, Sash.
Morse, your revelation is about the same level of like, I am 11 and this is deep with, oh, lights in video games are powered by real electricity.
I just got a hole in one, guys.
Is that true?
Revelation?
You actually just did. Yo.
That's annoying that you were able to get that hole in one. Throws me out of the loop.
Can
It's like, okay, I'm already like fucking 30 points ahead of everyone else.
I bless
Like I'm losing hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a hole in
Oh.
one. I could really use it.
That's how you did it. Also, Sash, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
I'm trying to do the ramp thing.
That's the wrong ramp.
They're looking for skulls. We talked about this. They need to get the one that has like the grunt birthday party.
Oh, come on.
This is how Sash is gonna get so many points.
Let me cook. As I said, let me cook.
You cooked. Good cook.
Hey, that's my first hole in one apparently.
Yes.
I could have sworn I got a hole in one last time.
I'm curious what happens. Oh! Alright, I got an idea.
Oh. No.
I have an idea.
No.
I just found out that if you misclick, you can actually just not move the ball and add a stroke, which is very unfortunate considering I got to within like a foot of the hole on stroke 1 and still ended up with 4.
What a cool gamer hack.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should all use that hack. That
Oh,
sounds
that
pretty
is... Screw you, bogey. I love Passenger's words are just a series of letters. All names
That's
are
what
letters.
words are.
I like something from Mitchell & Webb that was just like King Lear is just English words put in order.
Hi, there are
Wait, what's with the
names!
extra holes?
Bonus holes.
What do you mean?
Oh, they take you on an adventure, like Bilbo Baggins.
Where are we even trying to go?
I spawned as someone else spawned and I got fucking launched.
How's it going, Sash?
Oh, it took me all the way back up there. You're a fucking dog.
Oh. No.
Monkey-san. Monkey-san.
Okay,
So
who
my
did
life
who
flashed
did that
before my
monkey? Who did that monkey roar?
Yeah, right?
So my life flashed before my eyes.
Oh,
Oh, I see. I see what
bar and a half
Tatsu's.
sent to the moon.
Listen,
I see
got
what
such a
Tatsu's-
hole in
Rip is already
one.
starting on hole 8.
Yeah.
I got such a hole in one. Do you not trust me?
I trust you, but also I saw my life flash before my eyes.
Oh my goodness.
I thought I was gonna go back up that fucking wall. 11 strokes, baby, let's go.
That's his winning.
See, at least I lost, guys.
So great, let's go!
I don't feel like that I'm only 3 strokes from second place. I feel like I'm far farther into the abyss than that.
Great. Hold still for a second.
Fuck you, Sash!
You motherfucker!
I was gonna get Grant there. Fuck.
Par.
I
You were
got
in
you,
front
boys.
of me.
I blame Grant.
Oh shit.
Ripper, you know exactly what you want to do.
No.
I got you. Oh, boss, you keep moving. Oh, Sash. I got you, Sash. Wait a second. I'm just gonna position myself.
Yeah. You're gonna use all your shots, dude.
Sash was just rolling directly in my way the whole time, and
Hi there, unnamed. Hopefully you're doing all right, and your GF is doing all right too. Welcome.
It's okay.
We're gonna run out of time.
You have like.
I ran out of the
You're
shots.
yeah, oh wow, this is
I
struggling.
ran out of shots. Yeah, that's 14.
Oh, nice. Oh, is it just 11 over par? And then at that point, like the attendant comes in and he's like, look,
Listen, guy. Listen, guy.
there's other people using the course. You got to move on.
And it's
Yeah.
like the guys at the Japanese crane game places. If you lose that many times, they just fucking give it to you. Like, yeah, bro.
They just make it
easy.
easier. They're just like, oh, let me just adjust it so it's literally just a poke away. Hey, there you go, Sash.
Holy shit.
Don't worry, guys. I'm winning.
Oh my god, how did that drop me so far? God damn.
Yoink. That
What is
one.
this?
Wait a second. Wait. Oh, that never mind. There's like
What the
there.
fuck was?
I wanna go this way.
Scoping things out a little, okay?
What the? I am so confused why it wants us to go. What? Okay, so the hole is there.
I
don't care what gender you
Run
are.
away.
It feels like the left is a mistake.
I got no coming back, Sash.
Maybe.
Wait, Sash. What the fuck does that go? I want to go that way.
Go that way. Trust me. Trust.
The right feels like a
I
trap as
trusted
well.
You oh, never mind. I'm still here apparently.
So I just birdied.
It's okay. I've only done 7 strokes so far.
I've had about that many.
Oh, here we go. Is it gonna be a double bogey?
Yeah.
Double bogey. There we go.
Oogie, ooh.
What is black and white and red over? Sage, do tell me.
There's a lot of black and whites and red all over.
Look at the peppermint trees. They're red and white.
So I tried going off the
questions.
I tried going off the left ramp, and then I realized like that was the it's like that's the more difficult shot. It's probably a good one, and then I hit like the lollipop, and it sent me into like oblivion.
Oh no.
And then I went down to the right one, you know, the one that's like shaped so that it'll catch you, and then it just yeeted me off the map anyway when I went on the conveyor belt, and that one sent me to Skyrim.
Oh my god.
That sounds awful.
Only in Candyland.
Yeah.
I am literally almost 30 points ahead of the second lowest person.
Which hole are we up to now? Hole 10?
Oh,
I'm doing
come
it,
on.
guys. I'm doing it, guys.
Oh, nice.
All in one, baby.
The comeback starts now.
I mean, I'm 30 points behind already, so I feel like the comeback is still going to be a little bit.
It's not technically impossible until about hole 15.
Grant.
Oh my god.
Grant.
Grant.
I don't think that's where you meant to go, Grant.
Right, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You in Candyland?
Grant, is this bright and happy enough for you? Are you feeling the vibes right now?
Apparently, black and white and red all over is Grant in a make outfit.
I think my milkies are here.
Oh, yo.
Okay, if I did that right on the first go, it would have been a hole in one.
Oh my god, that was a trick shot and a half.
Oh,
Morse, holy shit.
No! Wait, mate. Birdie, at least. I got a birdie, at least.
No!
I
Oh
should've
shit!
jumped.
Has anybody actually attempted the way we're supposed to go?
No.
No.
Well, I'm not going to be a trend breaker, so let's go.
Speed runs rats.
Why is it not jumping when I click left? It's meant to jump.
There is no jumping.
There is, you bet. You
Only when you're in the thingamadiggies that
You're
are...
gonna be the Wawa.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, fuck it. We're gonna go that much.
I think that was my first birdie, like,
Oh, that was so close.
in this session.
Yeah, this is what...
Oh! Trick shot. Trick shot. Trick shot. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah!
It only took me 7 shots, but I did it.
You did the bork. Good for you, unnamed. You did the bork.
Damn it. Why does it fuck me so hard when I go for
Unnamed?
trick shots?
Unnamed Bork?
Yeah.
Nice.
Alright, so...
Oh, this sucks.
Oh, okay.
I hate it here.
Oh,
This music
Going
is
into the
designed
river.
to lull you into a false sense of security. Okay.
oh, you...
Probably should have checked if there was a backside to that hill. Did not.
Hmm.
Oh no!
Oh,
I just did that for you. I just did that for you, boss. You better like me now.
for knocking
No,
me off
you
the
bastard!
Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
Wait. Cupcake noises. Oh, never mind.
There we go. 6 strokes. How many is everyone else on?
I'm on my 5th one now.
Course? Oh my god.
I got it 7.
Sash and I are just going to be going back and forth, I feel like, in our pole position.
Oh my god.
There we go. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, that rip.
Oh.
No, I did not. I did not. Yo!
Oh, you!
Oh, nice.
Nice work, you. Nice work,
I mean-
Sash.
Some of us may need it more. Oh, there we go.
No! Oh, you...
I'm surprised that there's less intentional screwing each other over so far, but there's still plenty of time for that.
It's because,
You
like,
say-
the
you
screwing
say
each other
that.
over is, like, difficult
Oh,
to
there,
do.
there was some accidental screwing each other over just then, I think I saw.
Mm.
Oh,
There we go. God damn it.
oh, nah, come on. I'm watching Cupcake and like that was in. Fuck off, that was in.
Wait a sec, Cupcake, I got you.
Oh,
Did it work?
nope.
I got you this time, Cupcake. Trust. Wait a second, I'm just gonna get behind you, Cupcake. Never mind, they already laughed. They don't trust me.
I think that's someone who's in the chat rather than in the voice. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who it was, and I couldn't nail it.
General Cupcake is Velk Torum.
Oh, fair enough.
Poor Velk.
Oh,
one
they
second
just made
left.
They just fucking
Oh,
What?
Somehow.
I'll take it. Oh, look, random. Oh, that's not an up. Okay, it's a good thing I checked.
for fuck's sake.
No way.
That was not my intention. I'm very sorry.
That was not my intention either, and I don't know how I managed to do that.
Oh, you Morse!
I just hit it, so it still cost me a stroke. No.
You Morse!
Sash.
What did I do?
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit you.
Oh my god, is it gonna
I was
really
trying to get
send me
mine,
all the
Sash.
way? Oh my god.
Wait a second, I got you this time. Never mind. I got you, Ripper. Oh.
Oh, Totsu's trying to help. Oh.
No, it was a bogey.
That was almost a fuck you.
I got you, Grant. I got you, Grant. Just sit still. Never mind.
Get in the hole, Totsu.
I'm not trusting.
Bro, why no one trust me? I got Sasha hole in one.
I mean, it's true. There hasn't been somebody being, I wish you never helped me yet.
I mean, you did knock me off the course and then demand I thank you for it, so...
Oh, there we go. There's a negative review. Now we can put the average down.
I tried to
0 out
help
of
you.
5. 0 out of 5.
This is what I get for trying to help.
Bro, what is happening right
Hold
now?
up, baby. Let's go.
Oh! Wow!
Everyone else got a hole in 2. I got a hole in 1. Let's go.
Nice.
Like, for the number of hole-in-ones you have, I don't understand how you're still in last.
Well, see, there's a couple of double digits in there,
there's
so...
a couple of 11, like a 14, a 20.
I mean, look at hole 7. That's like 11 hole-in-ones.
That's a good
Exactly.
point.
Look, I got a boat,
I
guys.
don't like this. I don't like this.
I'm already not okay.
No, this one's good. This one's okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, this isn't so bad. I think.
It took me about 4 shots, but it's just...
Okay, where is... Okay.
Oh, that...
Unless you do this. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
I got it.
Okay, I'm good. It's good. I'm fine.
Oh, I went on to the next course.
Speedrunner strats.
Everyone else did.
Oh! Apparently there's somebody in front of me, I did not see them.
General got a fucking hole-in-1.
Nice.
God damn.
Good work.
Like, holy shit.
Oh, here I go with a double bogey, more than likely. Okay. Whoa, okay.
I was about to say.
Did not tease the hole, I kind of just rammed it.
Hey, look. Passenger also has the dredge boat.
I had to click through so many customization options when I started this game, because I haven't played it since 2017, playing to Steam. It took me like a legitimate 15 seconds to close them all.
Yeah, Sam.
And then I didn't even equip one.
Oh.
65. Oh.
I like how it's almost doubled the second last person score.
You got it for the record. I approve of it.
Bro, how do I even...
Okay. Sure.
Oh, apparently I managed to skip perfectly over all that. That's
Oh!
Fuck it, I'll go with it.
I got it in 4.
Ooh, ooh.
Alright, that was a little too hard.
Oh, you...
Moss, did we hit twice? Just trying to get in.
Oh,
Come on.
Oh,
Oh,
come on, what?
Oh, that's fine.
Rip.
What's up?
Grant landed just on the tip of being able to go down.
It's literally all come down to this.
Jesus.
Whee!
Oh, I fucked that so bad. God damn it.
Oh, what the...
Oh, this looks fun.
Oh no! I managed to miss everything.
I don't know how you would ever get a hole in one on this one.
I don't know what's happening.
Luck.
I'm being nudged.
I'm just gonna wait for Belt to take this shot.
It took me 3.
Hi.
Well, I'm just gonna wait my turn.
Fair enough.
It took General Cupcake 3 too, by the looks of it. Oh, never mind.
We're going full send.
There seems to be a gauntlet up ahead.
Whoa!
Oh no, you made it! I have no hope now.
Full send!
Let's go, Ripper. Let's go.
Oh!
I think Sash won by 1. Because you got par, right?
I think I did. I wasn't paying attention.
Double bogey on me.
Yo!
Oh, we tied.
We tied.
I went down so.
Look, guys.
I can't. I was like third and shit. How did
Guys, look, I got 3 hole-in-ones there. 1, 1, 1. Ooh, I looked the black.
Okay, I need to redo my customization because I done fuckied.
Alright.
The Foxes win. I'm okay with that.
Hell yeah.
I have a hat now.
Alright, I'm actually doing customization now. What is that? Look at all the lock stuff.
Why is it telling me I have no hats?
How did I end up with 80 million things pop up at the start and I somehow own none of them?
I think there's a bug. Hang on, let me...
I don't have any trails. I can get the orange floaty. Ugh.
Okay, I'm just gonna quickly jump out of the lobby, Grant, and I'll be back.
Not to worry. Ugh.
Apparently I need to restart my game. Jesus, alright.
Mm-hmm.
I want my fox hat, damn it.
I paid for my fox hat. I want my fox hat.
Invite to Sashera so she gets back in easily.
I kind of want all the marbles. The marble skins look cute. That's probably good
Alrighty.
DLC though.
Let's go. We're gonna go back to Forest, but you'll understand why.
I feel like I should be concerned.
Nah. Why would you?
Don't be concerned. Why would you concern?
Are we ready?
Yes.
I think everyone's here?
You got your fox?
I got my fox.
You got your fox.
I didn't even bother looking because I'm assuming I haven't earned it yet.
The fox is a paid DLC because I have issues.
Then I definitely haven't earned it yet.
Just a furry. Just furry things.
Oh no.
Wait, why am I a puck?
Oh, Grant done fuckied us. Oh, wait, I'm a fucking mushroom. What the fuck is this?
I'm a fucking puck.
Oh, no, I hate it.
I'm so unhappy right now.
Let me in!
I just keep bouncing off everything.
Think of it like a hockey table, Tatsu.
I love how general cupcake noises is just a ball, but they didn't want to take
Grant went full fucking send.
It's so good. I love it.
We have collisions and odd shapes.
The mushroom sucks, by the way.
Good to know.
I was a hockey puck, guys. I just fucking bounced.
Wait, am I gonna be a mushroom for the whole
I'm
fucking thing?
I'm a fucking cylinder now.
Whee, cylinder!
No, you should be different things each time. I was just a normal ball.
No.
Me and Sash were both cylinders.
No.
What this? Oh, bro, I got a Tim Tam! We're talking about Tim Tam.
Got a Tim Tam.
In the middle of a Tim Tam is a
Ripper, are you good?
Yeah,
my brother agrees that
I'm
Tim Tam
just.
is a cream.
Oh no, I'm not good anymore. I'm distraught.
You are a golf ball. There is no
it's
problems
no
with
cream.
you.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I suppose that's right.
Why is somebody a radar butt plug? Who's that?
Coffee? Right, it's a coffee flavored one too, nice.
What the fuck am I? Oh, I'm an air. Oh, this sucks.
I like how when you take your first stroke is like a journey of self-discovery.
Yep.
I'm a fucking puck again, guys. I'm a fucking puck.
Oh, I'm a cylinder?
Cylinder's good. I like cylinder.
I don't want to be a cylinder.
Salanda.
Hi, Sash.
So, do you wanna nudge?
You want me to nudge you?
What's Sash?
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
go
it's
on.
in
Oh,
the
Sash is
wrong
an
direction.
egg.
Yeah. Well, that didn't work, did it?
This is great. Oh.
Let me in! The problem with the cylinder is it doesn't rotate, so if you're
Oh.
yeah, that happens.
I just strafe into the hole.
You got one direction.
I can't believe I'm like third because first is tied. I'm actually surprised at how well I'm doing.
Oh, okay. The puck has so much distance.
The puck is I don't even feel like it's an ice hockey puck. It looks like an air hockey puck.
Yeah, it fucking bounces. It just fucking bounces.
Oh, I got a D20.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Bogey.
I got pie. Let's go.
You good, Ripper?
I'm shocked that I am here. I don't know how I managed
that's
this.
a spot, huh?
It's annoying how it seems so smooth, and then it'll just be like, donk.
No.
It just has a lot of drag on it. Luckily, it didn't send me into the Shadow Realm or anything.
Look at you, running at 13.
What's with the saw blade?
I'm a starfish. I'm a little star.
Just a little star.
Whoa! Whoa!
Just-
Whoa!
just a little
Whoa!
Yeah, Grant, you want to help me out real quick?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Sash was also a star.
I like how it just looks like Sash was just a little fox with a ninja star in their mouth.
Mayumis.
What do you got there? A star. Oh my god, why does she have a star?
I just imagine like the kid running around. What do you have there? A ninja star.
Oh my god, why does he have a ninja star?
Full thread.
Ooh.
I'm a fucking.
Full thread was a bad idea.
I'm a cone. I'm a fucking cone.
You're allowed to join, Sage. This is open for all viewers.
No.
No, no, no.
Oh, that fucking sucks. The cone is terrible.
The cone is awful.
Man, I could have hold him on that.
You get to 360 no scope
to
everything.
get it in.
Oh god.
Oh, it's a
Belts,
Christmas
got like
bowl.
A bomb.
I was literally right next to the fucking feet, and it took me 4 strokes because instead of rolling, just fucking spins in a fucking circle.
See, yeah, on my second stroke, I ended up like
Oh,
touching
the acorn. I can't. Oh,
I ended up
that's
happened to me.
Boss, the acorn.
I ended up like touching the cup on my second thing, and I'm like, oh, it sucks to be me. And then I saw that you're a code, and I'm like, I'll no longer complain.
What am I this time?
I think I got a
Gonna
ball.
shoot it? Oh,
I don't know
fuck
what-
again.
I don't know what happened. I think I slammed it into the back of someone else and
I
went
have
backwards off the
egg.
course.
Yes.
There we go. It was a cube.
Fucking egg.
I got your rip up.
You're in.
You just set me off the course. No, I'm back at the start now. You like actually fucked me.
Oh, I love how the star is just standing up.
I'm standing up. Hey, let me just snipe into the hole. Watch this. I don't know how I did that, but I'm unhappy about it. I was actually lined up for a shot, and you sent me off the course.
I'm so sorry.
I was a 6. I was lined up in 2.
I'm so fucking sorry.
The fact that the star starts on its feet is actually hilarious.
You're a cube. You're a cube.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Oh, I'm just a normal.
Just
okay.
You just a little ball.
I was a bubble. Sash,
There we go.
Where you going, Sash?
I don't know.
Do I even fit in the hole?
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
Well, it doesn't look like it. Hold on, there's only one way to find out.
You'll get there if you wish hard enough. Anything's a hole you can fit into.
It took 6 strokes to get in the
How did I
hole, but
manage to
sometimes
do
it happens.
I keep thinking I'm doing better than Sash, but then I look at Sash's things and it's like, oh, it's because she doesn't take shots. She's just waiting. I need to next adjustment. I'm gonna lower.
Well, I think that solidifies my lead. What just happened there? I'm happy with that.
So, yeah. Oh, Sage, you don't need to be friends in order to join the lobby. You just need once we're out of this game, you just need to be in the Australia region, GrantZeebs lobby, Himbo Fun as the password. But yeah, one of the things I'm gonna definitely be doing is I'm gonna be shortening the time to do your shots. It's gonna be less than a minute.
What?
I don't want none of this nonsense of waiting for like all of us to go and then
No, I'm not waiting for all of you to go. I'm trying to math it because it's math. Golf is a patience game, Grant.
This is.
It is legitimately. Did we have a 4-way? I started off the map. I'm spawning under the map.
Oh, I'm a fucking cathedral.
Hole in one! Let's go!
I would have got a hole in one, but I've got fucking sides. I'm not round.
I'm like legitimately just spawning off the map. I don't know what to do about this. I'm grinding the stay on target achievement.
That's just golf.
I'm actually
Something else. I can't move. I can't move.
I'm upset right now. I'm still on 0 strokes, but I'm gonna time out.
Oh no!
I feel as though that I can claim a moral victory after this.
To be fair, you started like right next to the. Oh no! Wait.
What happened?
I'm not doing anything. I haven't taken a shot yet. I just keep spawning under the map.
What?
Grant, I can't believe you unlocked the fuck you shape.
Just forfeit the hole.
I'm still taking 0. Like I'm on 0 strokes. I haven't taken a shot at all. I'm not even allowed to take a stroke because you can't hit it while you're in midair.
Yeah,
and even
but
if
here's
I
the
did,
thing.
I'll be hitting it on the map.
You got booted. Oh, wait, passenger got booted?
How did passenger get booted?
I don't know.
We're gonna be here for another 45 seconds. How you all doing?
No, just forfeit the hole, Ripper. Just Ripper.
No, look, maybe one of these times it'll change.
Moral high ground.
Moral high ground.
Thank you, Voss.
Grant, there's a kick button if you look at
Is there a kick button?
I'm actually gonna get the stay on target achievement. I was up to 7, now I'm up to 36.
Oh wow! Reported for cheating?
I'm achievement boosting. Hold on, everyone.
Oh, you can spin the ball?
Yeah.
I'm so unhappy right now. I was tied for first. We think a 4-way tie for first. How many strokes is it gonna give me? 11?
It's gonna give you 14. No, it's the max plus 2.
I'm sorry.
It'll be 16.
Is the timer is meaningless now? All right, I'm clicking forfeit hole. It was actually continuing. We could have left there forever.
Yep.
Oh, and now I'm last. Awesome. I got 14 strokes. Fuck this game.
Oh.
Legitimately, like I knew at some point I would fuck up.
Oh god. Oh.
I knew at some point I would fuck up and I would lose the lead. But like I did not expect it to happen like that.
Wait, guys, I'm a code, so this technically counts as me moving. Therefore, I can't hit. Now I'm stuck.
Oh.
Do I have a bigger ball? Am I tripping? Am I not used to playing this game now? I had one hole and like I don't want to talk about it.
I am stuck here now, guys. Because I am a code, this is technically still me moving.
No! Oh, because it's pointing inwards, you're not getting pushed outwards.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Tatsu, no.
Look, no, you're slowly going towards the middle. Eventually, something will happen.
Oh no, Tatsu.
I'm just rolling, guys. I roll.
Dude, I'm gonna be incredibly salty and be like, at least you got to hit the cone. I can't believe the game had 14 strokes and gave them all to me.
Where's the surrender button?
You press escape to get to the menu and you click forfeit hole. It's a hit.
Hey, just think, 2 holes ago we had like a 3 or 4 way tie for first.
Oh, I'm the co now.
Oh, I'm a Salander.
Oh no.
I hit the angle.
The jump is just not gonna work.
Yeah, I hit the angle and because I hit the corner of the cylinder.
Code, I hit him full blast and he still doesn't fucking move.
Oh my god, fucking someone help me.
Did that help?
No.
Wait a second.
Oh, yeah, there we go. 10 strokes.
Wait a second, Sash.
Fuck! Yeah!
I was the only normal ball, so I thought I'd help people, but it didn't help.
I think it's because you're a Christmas bauble.
Fuck. I can't believe I ran into you. 9. That was a 9.
I also got a 9. It's okay, you're not coming lost anymore, Ripper.
I would be coming second with only 2 down. I think it's okay for me to be upset about that one.
Oh, I got network disconnected.
That's what happened.
Is everyone okay?
I'm a bauble.
Hang on. Network, Australia, detect best region.
The bauble fucking sucks for this map, what the fuck?
Yeah, so I hit the corner with the stem on the bauble and I got sent into the Shadow Realm.
Oh my god.
Can I join the VC, please? Yeah, you can join the VC, Jason. You're one of my moderators. You should be able to, like, just jump in, no probs.
Oh my god!
It only took me 12 strokes. Oh, never mind, it took me 13 strokes.
Hey,
never
guess.
mind, I ran out of fucking strokes, it's 14.
Hey, the best part is that's as many as I got on that time when I couldn't even fucking play.
I'm sorry, Morse, but now you get 14. We get 12 strokes and it classes too.
Hello.
Hello.
The best was 6? Damn.
How are we all?
Doing alright.
Doing good.
Oh, guys,
Yes.
I got a fucking cube and now I'm stuck on the ramp.
Again?
I can't get to you, I'm sorry.
Well, it's hopeless, my friends.
I got you, Tatsu. You ready?
No, I got you.
What? I went to the next course,
launched you.
Stash for speedrunning, they went to the next hole.
We've all split up, have we?
Pro strats.
We've all...
Fuck me!
Hendrix demands you drink.
Fuck!
Is it online or live or I have to join?
It's a custom classic. I'm setting up another thing. So give me a few to
Guys,
get
am I
this
ever
up
gonna
and
get
running.
under 100 points?
Maximum time, 60.
Am I fucking Salander again? I am.
I'm an Emg. Oh.
Ball shape.
Whoa!
Random.
Overdid.
Random each.
Bork.
Bork.
Fuck me. Oh my god.
I can't.
Are you starting a new one, Grant?
Yeah, I'm starting a new one because I got disconnected and such. Max penalty is 2. Max time per round. Max shots per round.
Infinite shots, infinite.
Infinite.
It does.
Always.
It does allow you to do infinite, but I think
Infinite shots.
nah, I'm gonna do like 20. Okay.
What?
I mean,
no.
to be fair, if you're putting a time limit on, then really, like, there is a stroke limit intrinsically.
I'm just gonna
Exactly.
say that if we do infinite shots, that's all.
That's all.
That's my argument. Thank you.
Those are my room party plans. I'll see you soon.
Yep.
All right. Hang on. So ding, invite.
Is there an wall? There's an invisible wall there. What the fuck? Oh, because I'm a fucking star, I can't roll up the fucking thing.
Oh no.
I'm stuck here.
Well, I just got I just got changed to a puck. All right.
I got changed to a cube. I can go up the ramp now.
Why did we get changed?
Change places.
Change places.
Fucking that change actually saved my fucking game.
Oh no.
Because I went from being a star, not being able to get up the ramp, to being a cube, and I could roll up the ramp still.
All right.
I do like how, again, because Sash has got the fox, it looks like a tiny fox has stolen an egg.
It really does. It's like this is
I love it. I actually love it.
my M.
We are so vulnerable to furry bait.
I mean, we are furries.
It's true. It's that whole thing where it's like I was really like I don't know what I was madder about with Wild Assault. You know, where every single character is furry bait. I don't know if I'm madder that every character is furry bait or that it worked and I like most of them.
What the
I hate this furry shit. Oh, it's really cute though.
the
Oh,
furry assault game.
Yeah, Wild Assault, the furry battlefield.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. As has been pointed out when we're talking about Concord, your game is reliant on your player base, and if no one is interested in Rule 34ing your shit, it's an uphill battle.
we need to make these characters.
More importantly, I haven't heard of this game. Can someone link it to me?
Yeah, same. I want to know this game.
It was in alpha and such, so a few of the popular furs were able to play it and such like that. But there was like tens of thousands of people that
Can
requested
you
a
send me
key.
the invite again, Grant? Because it doesn't seem to work.
All right, one moment. Invite. Are you playing the game right? Yeah, there you are. You are playing the game. Nice.
So I actually feel really bad with Wild Assault. I just applied through Steam and I got it relatively quickly.
Oh.
Okay, I did not mean to
20
do that.
minutes in. Like it took like 20 minutes, but I did do it like on the first day that they had it open, so I think maybe I just got in quick.
Yeah.
But something I really regret not streaming it, because after all was said and done, even with their thousands of players, they only had 49 people ever stream it.
You won't let me allow to join.
That's crazy.
I'll send you a link.
What's it called? You got it?
Yeah.
You won't allow me to join.
So
I
GrantZeebs
needed to
lobby,
watch this.
Australia. The password is Himbo Fun.
I'm going to have a look. Is it host or how do I get into it?
You should be able to get into it if you go to online and then you click on browse.
Okay.
And then you want to look for a
Get a
custom
number
match.
under 100.
So you want to click on
what's their password again?
Himbo Fun. It's the pinned message in Twitch. Grant
Low-key
Johnson is
Peter Punk might have actually saved me this round.
Hi there, YY.
The fucking... Because I'm actually, like, because I'm a die and not a ball, the fucking conveyor belt is sending me random amounts every time.
Yep.
Literally like a D20 skill check.
Yeah.
Sash, I'm sorry to say, but this is going to be terrible for you.
Hey, just so you know, I got that achievement for going out of the course.
I'm in Spain without the A. Oh, fuck.
I can't even make it off the start because the conveyor belt keeps fucking me.
Listen, just tell the conveyor belt to ask for consent for it. My god.
There. Oh. I'm just watching Ripper's. I'm watching Ripper's stream because. All right, to give context to the viewers, Ripper is also playing this game as well, and they're doing their stream, and so they have a different set of audiences. Hi there, Ripper's stream.
Hello.
Oh, say hi, Grant.
If anyone would like to join from Ripper's side of the chat, you're welcome to. The details on how to, like the lobby and the password are found in mine.
We gotta start. Oh my
there
god,
we go.
Ripper, you're actually in worse pain than me. Jeez.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to play. Still in second though.
I came last, baby. Let's go. Yeah.
All right, we gotta go join Grant's new lobby.
I love how Ripper went
cap.
from like second last to second now.
I can't join on you anymore, Grant, because you had opened lurk bait. So sad.
You had what?
Because you opened Lurkbait since the last time I can't join you.
Oh yeah, that's probably why your invite might not be working if Steam thinks that your current game is Lurkbait and not rid of the invites.
Give me a second. I can fix that. Back to game.
We have to fix that.
Let's
then
have a look at what the downloadable content
close
is
the
for this
app.
game while we wait.
Try and find some cool hats.
Yeah.
Invite. Well, just
Fucking
check
$6 for that pack, Sash. My God, how? Why
Just
would you
look
pay
for the
$6
lobby.
for
Just go to
hats?
online.
Because it has a
browse.
fox in it.
But now I'm cute, so.
Like, Ripper.
What's up?
Go to online. That's additional content. Australia.
You're on the delay, yeah.
Start. Or yeah, continue.
Oh.
I forgot that it was like detect best region. Yes.
Yeah, you can click start. Hold on, it's happening.
And then it's gonna tell you.
Figuring out I'm from Australia. It's checking all the prices on Steam. Yeah, they're terrible. We're in Australia. Let's go.
Yep.
Go, baby.
You're not
I'm assuming you want browse,
Grant. Like in Zeebs. I gave you the. All right, you want to go to browse? Yep. And then the game mode. Oh, there. Never mind. It's right there. Himbo Fun. All one word.
I'm glad that it puts the password in full text, so that way people aren't allowed to stream it if they actually care if people join.
Yeah, no, that's why this is a one that everyone can join. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 3 more slots open for anyone that has golf with your friends open. Now, I will at least tell you ahead of time, there's random balls. They're gonna be random shapes, and they're gonna be random sizes.
I don't like how on your stream, Grant, that my profile picture is the only one that's not showing up. That makes me sad.
The only one that what, sorry?
It's not showing up on the left where it says players' names. My profile picture is the only one that's not showing up.
Oh, I don't know why.
I mean, same for me.
Because everyone shows up for me.
Yeah. Alright.
You're not cool enough, I'm sorry.
That look weird.
Alrighty.
Is there anyone missing is the better question.
Sage, Jason are new. Let's see. General Cupcake. No one's missing as far as I know. So. Alright. Wait, what is it? I'm not persecuted for borking Ripper's chat, unlike with Zeebs. Okay, you're welcome to bork in Ripper's chat. See how you go. Just spam that shit.
Is it unnamed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like planes, I'm okay with that.
The DCS hard on. Did I send you the video? Hang on a sec. I need to send you a tweet. I need to send you a... Oh, Candyland. This is going to be terrible. But I need to send you a tweet that I shared to my ex-housemate who's a DCS fan and all that kind of such, and then to you.
Yeah, that Quaggles that somehow isn't the famous Quaggles, but it's a different one.
Bruh. Why does it do this?
Alright, I sent you a tweet of something amazing. Alright.
I'm a starfish. I should survive in the water.
Why? I'm a thumbtack? Oh, acorn, okay.
Oh, I'm a cylinder.
Salander.
Fuck me. Yeah, I don't know why it keeps killing my customization every time I join a new lobby. It's kind of
30
annoying.
seconds left already, what the fuck?
Yeah. I lowered the
we
time.
only start with a minute.
Yeah.
Whereas before, was it 2 minutes or 90 seconds?
Before it was 2 minutes. So... Yeah. Enjoy your math.
Grant's gonna make me have a panic attack.
Oh, this is gonna be awful.
Oh, the fucking ornament is terrible on this.
Hey, I'm the coin, but at least I managed to fucking play this time.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, no, the ornaments is fucking me over. Because the end bit hits like the
I
side
got
of the
double
map as well.
bogey, even though I'm technically outside of the thing now. Wait, Ripper, aren't you now the... Oh.
Yeah, no, this.
So did you know that if you hit it too hard, it actually, this particular thing phases through the walls? Watch this.
Oh, let's go.
Oh no, it didn't do it that time. It decided to fuck me on the second one, but not the fifth one. I see how it is.
Only when people aren't
Can't
watching.
get around the corner! Fuck!
Don't worry, Sash, I feel you did the
You know what?
bump.
I'm just gonna full send it. Fuck it.
I feel you.
Sash is the coin too, no.
Sash, I feel you. With the ornament, the like little bit on the end just keeps bumping off the edge and knocking me off of the map.
Yeah, it's like you hit the, it's like if it hits the wall right, it just sends you into the Shadow Realm.
Yep, we're out of time.
Bullshit.
See, you'd think that the random balls would take some of the pain off, because now it's like, oh well, now it's not completely a skill-based game, so I'm okay with I'm okay with it. But it's like, no, it makes it worse.
It just adds momentum.
Oh, god damn you. Do you want me to make it so that you can jump in the next one?
Oh, damn it. I sniped out a hole and went out onto fucking the wilderness. There we go.
Hi, Wilk.
Oh, please, no! Oh, fuck off! Oh, wait, I can play it from here.
Yeah!
Yes! I didn't know you could do
Jason, no, Jason. No.
Jason!
You got 10 seconds.
Oh, this like that looks fucking
It's
big,
Jova for Jason.
Oh dear.
That's unfortunate. I think with the random balls a minute's a little too harsh, but like...
Just don't think about it.
I mean...
What do you mean don't think about it? Golf is literally a thinking game, Grant.
No, it is a whacking a ball. Saying golf is a golf is a thinking game is like saying chess is a hand exercise.
Grant, I'm sorry to say, but you were completely wrong, and I fucking am triggered.
That's what I was... Yeah.
It's all about trajectories and angles and math. It's for thinking.
I remember. Thank you for stopping me.
What's up? Do you want to just cuddle in the tube?
I mean, I've already done the bottom.
Oh.
You stopped me enough,
no.
Besides,
Okay,
it's
so
those moments like these.
Apparently I stopped you, and then like it didn't update where you were on my screen for a bit. I have not played the Acon before. It is miserable.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
Acon sucks. Thank you, Easy. Fuck's sake.
Whee!
Oh, this is unfortunate. Boy, I hope I happen to be a ball again.
Whee!
Oh no.
God damn it, Morse, you were in my way.
I'm a fucking cube. I'm not gonna be able to get fucking momentum.
Okay, I'm actually the tiny ball, so I went over the other side of the course.
Oh, fuck this!
It's such a calming, relaxing game to just challenge your brain and like laugh. It's so good.
Yes!
It's just hey, golf is a relaxing game because
Yeah, 9 strokes.
Well, something about me feels challenged right now, that's for sure.
Oh, nice work, Ripper!
There we go, stroke 4.
You only took 4 strokes?
Yeah, because Ripper is like taking his time.
I couldn't take. I actually wasn't taking my time. I was only doing about 3 or 4 seconds a shot, but it takes so long for it to call me out of the course that I took that long to do like 4 strokes.
Why am I the Acon again?
I am Emg. Oh, thank you.
No. Stop, please. I'm.
No!
Ripper, how could you?
Easily. I just didn't care about anyone else or their feelings.
What?
Oh. Cupcake is having an adventure.
Yeah,
One
I love when
stroke.
if you can just spam the jump button while in the water and you just go on adventures.
Okay, Izzy, I didn't say overthinking about golf is the same thing as underthinking about chess. I'm saying that golf being a math game is like saying chess is a hand exercise.
That is
It's a physics
Not
game.
the right analogy at all, oh God's sake.
Especially with mini golf. Mini golf is much more math game.
Yeah, it's physics.
You gotta math about how much you're gonna hit the ball.
You're triggering Izzy
what
now.
angle you have to hit the ball. How high you want the ball to go. Which direction.
So stop being mean to Izzy.
Izzy's being mean to me!
I mean,
You're being
yeah.
mean to all of us by saying stuff that makes no sense.
Oh, I'm in the Salander again, so it started tumbling as it went down there and just yeeted me out.
God.
Oh no! I'm going down so slowly that it's just gonna time me out probably. Oh, please get down the hill. That's all I need.
Can I get a hole where I'm not the Acorn valve? No.
Lazy roll.
That
20
feels
seconds.
my pain.
The fucking puck just keeps going. Like, that was
Grant,
the stuff that said I could do.
Grant, apparently someone needs to tell you that you can hit it less than full power.
Oh.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck the Salander.
Oak apparently keeps getting the fucking acorn, apparently.
Hey, look at that! Ripper's
I
first.
feel so Felk. I feel so bad for Felk. Well then. You know what? I'm no regrets. No regrets.
Oh, I'm a tiny ball. Okay.
What the fuck?
Where the fuck is the flag on this? Oh, it's over there.
Nice, Ash.
Oh no, I'm the fucking acorn. Oh, I'm not even gonna get it through the donut hole at this rate. Oh, see?
Par.
I'm fucking miserable right now.
Hi, Atomica.
I'm playing Grant.
Isn't playing games with friends great?
I fucking hate it here.
I fucking hate this fucking family.
Grant spent so much time talking about like, oh, at least these people always come and play my games. It's like, hey,
actually think you're
I've run this is our last one, our final time.
Grant, I have to.
Grant.
You say that you're talking about all this not planning and everything. I got 8 strokes. I'm actually pretty happy about that. That map with the acorn, 8 strokes is fine by me.
So Greg, can I just tell you that I just hit Sash like 12 times in a row?
Oh, look at Sash go.
I just want to say, Grant, your planning has been perfect. I like how you made sure to set up this game so that when you're taking your break, we're not missing you.
Gee, thanks.
Sash, did I help at all, Sash?
What?
Did I help at all?
A little bit.
Oh, the
in
cube
spirit,
is terrible
in spirit.
for this.
I'm the fucking acorn this time. Why am I the acorn this time?
Come on.
Mum said it's my turn to be the acorn.
Come on, Sage, you can do it. Where am I? Oh. Okay, which way do I go? Which way do I go from here?
What's the?
Oh crap!
Hate it, yeah.
12 strokes.
It's supposed to be my lunchtime, and I'm just sitting here like, I'm hungry. What do I even want to eat?
I just had soup.
Just buy like 3 milk teas and drink it. Full of milk.
True.
Mm.
But don't forget the Tim Tams.
Oh
You gotta
crap!
get the Tim Tams.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the music makes it worse too.
It does. The music
All
box
the
you.
acorns, milk, no.
I wonder what shape I am. I'm the fucking cube.
Yeah,
I can't believe I'm the
I'm
cube.
a ball again. I'm a ball again. That's good. He just quit. Oh, whoever did that, thank you.
I'm just gonna sit here and hope somebody knocks me in.
I meant to stop eating, so thank you for that.
Oh, somebody got me closer, but you know.
You're cube, you don't exactly roll.
I know. I was hoping that enough people would hit me that I would get some help.
Nice.
I can't believe that like we're even approaching par.
Acorn is correct! Oh, never mind. Look where I landed, Sash. Look where I landed, Sash. Do you see?
You're not in the hole?
No.
You're not in the hole?
No.
What the fuck?
This is where I landed. I'm not in the hole.
Bullshit, you're in the fucking hole!
Oh my god.
Ah, crap. Well,
Yeah, let's go.
Please, Cone. Please go in. Please enter the hole. Thank you.
Oh, Morse, yes!
I think I lost my lead on that one.
Oops. Where's the hole?
Let's see.
Yes, unfortunately.
Hang on.
Oh. C is
Do we
to
have
do
to have
free.
that?
Oh, C is the free cam, so you can just look at it for an infinite amount of time.
Yeah, you only get 15 seconds of free cam, I think, by default.
Oh.
When you still have strokes to make.
Oh, okay.
It's good to find out where like the hole is real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do a quick scouting one. Ooh!
Ripper is still winning by 1 point.
Don't worry, I've done my cone time. Surely the game will be kind to me now.
I
can't believe I'm the fucking coin again.
Yay, star, look at me.
No.
Actually, don't look at me for a minute, because, yeah.
No, 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 no.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh, where am I?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean.
But yeah, no, this is probably a good party game stream, however, to like cap it off before going on break. I'm gonna be real with you. I am laughing my ass off on some of these.
When you have to take your break, Grant, is that tomorrow or?
Essentially, yeah. So,
Okay.
so like from tomorrow on, I was thinking of using tomorrow to try and get through as much of the Final Fantasy XIV MSQ as I can, but I've opted for nah, fuck it. I'll get back into it in July. If I really want to, I'll just make more streams of Final Fantasy XIV in July for, you know, Dawn Trail and what have you. But from the sounds of it, like even peeps like Sasher and such, it's not going to be an Insta thing.
Yo, I hold it while the fucking gun.
Good for you, Sash, for hole in one-ing it.
Oh, I'm a fucking egg.
Ripper's in pain.
Wait, Sash, when do we get access to the Dawn Trail, by the way?
27th, I think? End of the month.
No. 27th is if you pre-ordered ahead of time.
We all pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I told you this, Grant. We pre-ordered not because we want early access, but because we want the earring.
Yeah. Oh my god, Jason, this looks like pain, Jason.
I fucking hate that sentence that you just said.
What about the earring?
Yeah. I mean, it could be worse. I mean, it could be like that $90 monocle from EVE Online. You know, that game where you're always flying around in the starships and nobody even sees your cosmetics anyway.
Oh my god.
Oh, what the hell is this?
100%!
All I know is that I hate it. I'm the fucking acorn on this map.
I'm a puck. Oh no, I'm the star.
Okay, good. I've just savanted it down into the correct place.
I'm an egg. Am I an egg? I think so. What the hell just happened?
Who's the floppy marital aid?
The what?
What?
In the bottom of the hole, I just see something green flopping around.
A cube.
It's a. I think I would know what a cube is.
I don't think you do. Because the only green thing...
so it's pronounced Kube.
Kube.
In my defense, Ripper, the earring is not purely cosmetic. It actually gives you an EXP boost.
I hate that even more, but understandable.
I'm lost, I think.
So, but yeah, it's... The earring is like, oh, it gets you up to level 90, like 30%, like, until you get to level 90, experience gained in, like, battle, crafting, and gathering is, like, 30% increase. Which, you know, is a pretty big deal.
I mean,
I think it's only 15.
I know, I was gonna say 10%
30.
would blow people's socks off.
Pretty sure it's 30. Oh,
I mean, I
I'm
can
an
check out
egg.
Egg.
Man, if I was a bull, I would have just got a one. But I was a fucking cube, so it took me.
I can't tell if I'm happy that I'm a small egg or not.
God damn it,
It's just an acorn at the bottom of the hole.
Who's the acorn? Fuck off.
It's General Cupcake.
Fuck.
Oh no. Oh no.
No. Go
Why
in,
are they
go
not
in.
moving?
Are they not moving on purpose or are they stuck?
I don't know.
I mean, whoever's in the back, he needs to full send it.
Oh, it's General Cupcake noises.
Yeah, that's what I said, it's General Cupcake.
They've just given up? Are they okay? Do they need help?
No, and then the second that
doing it
Grant
to
was
block
no
Grant.
longer... Yeah, the second they were no
To block
longer in
Grant.
the way, they fucking just nailed it the
Charles says,
hole.
I'm ready to wait.
No.
That's a you problem, Grant.
I can't believe you got stream sniped in golf.
Guys, I'm going to the next course early.
I'm no good at bouncing the Salander.
You mean the cylinder?
Yeah, the Salander.
Slander.
Don't. Oh my fucking god.
It's like cilantro, but a
Australians.
duh.
Australians and their
Yeah.
fucking words. Speak English! Use the full alphabet in pronunciation!
Nah, mate.
Cylinder.
Yeah, nah.
Salander.
Cylinder.
Tatsu's going to the next course too, guys. Let's go.
Cylinder.
Highlander.
Oops, what is going on with Bit?
Highlander.
Go, Tatsu, go. You got 3 seconds. Oh, yeah!
Okay.
I give you 1 week.
I mean, it could be worse. I mean, the egg is nowhere near as bad.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
As you
you're
know,
right,
the
30%.
Oh,
It's
the
nowhere near
Christmas
as bad as the
bauble is
squarey, that's
absolutely
for sure.
fucking terrible. Let me tell you.
I'm going to actually just not now.
Just not. Just don't.
I'm the cylinder and I can't, like, full send does not send me high enough off the ramp to get to the next area.
You're the
Oh my
cylinder sash.
I thought you were a cylinder.
You're the cylinder sash.
No, I'm the what's the triangle bullshit?
Oh, the Kone?
I am
The
the
Kone.
Kone.
The
I am
Kone.
the Kone. I am also the Kone.
I'm in pain.
I can hear you in pain.
I'm the hokey puke, so
I can't do anything because allow me to. Ah,
Morse, I swear to fucking God.
I was a card. I couldn't do anything.
The second I made it over, I got knocked.
Real reason
I can't believe I timed out and I'm still in first.
What is happening? What is happening?
Okay, the ornament is fucked on this one because it loses momentum and just rolls back down.
I'm the
Yep.
I hit
fucking
that full
D20.
force. I hit it full force and it has not enough. There's not enough force to get up.
Atomica believes that we have suffered bad damage.
Has anybody finished it? Because I want somebody else to see this shit. I will
almost
send
finished.
this. I will
Thanks,
send
Moss.
this full force.
Boom! Ah,
yes,
goddammit.
please.
Sash,
Yes,
you ready?
please.
Can you see me?
He stopped me. It's good.
Can you see me?
Let me see.
Oh,
How?
I don't care that I'm 100%ing
full
this.
force. That's full force.
Oh no! Can you like edge yourself closer to the bottom and then full force it? Because that's what I had to do.
This gauntlet is going to be my undoing.
It's okay
Just
because
get
you got
through
no
it.
seconds
Just
left.
dodge. Just dodge.
No, I actually
Problem
the one of the like balls that was flying across the thing. I can't believe I'm timed for first on 2 failures. I can't believe.
I was looking at an ornament. I could hit it as hard as I fucking could, and it never made it to the top.
It gave me a 19 and I tied for first. But yeah, one of those gauntlet things just kept bouncing me, so I couldn't take the shot. So I was just stuck there for like 20 seconds. It was awful.
Forever.
I really suffered
I've gotta get going.
emotional damage on that one.
Who's going?
I'm taking off. I've got to get going. It's
Fair enough.
This has been a blast, though.
It has.
So-
It's nearly 3 p.m. my time as well, so we've been going for like a good like three plus hours, which is great. It was
Almost
slow at the
4
start. Yeah, it's almost hitting 4 hours. It was really slow at the start, but I really appreciate those of you who are able to join in later on. Thank you.
It's because it was like everyone was waking up at 1 o'clock.
But like,
I was up at Sydney Airport picking up my cousin.
I'm gonna be real. I don't know why are you not awake before 10 a.m. on a Saturday?
Because
how dare you sleep in on a Saturday?
I had to go.
You can sleep in on a Saturday, but like don't, lose the entire morning.
You have the entire night, and then you rinse and repeat.
I sleep in that. I sleep in that late on weekdays, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I had to go on a 2-hour car ride to go pick up my cousin from the airport, then drive them back for another 2 hours.
Okay, that's
You have
terrible.
an excuse, and that's okay. and you
Here's
go
the thing.
lollipop.
You're way more valid, Tatsu. You had IRL priorities, not. Oh, it's the
I'm tired.
afternoon. I probably need to get up.
Excuse me, I got up before lunchtime. I'm good.
I got up before, and then I fell asleep again. Ooh.
Brett, you have to realize that you woke up probably like 20 minutes before I went to bed.
Okay.
Oof.
Well,
Oof.
The last time I saw on the clock was 8:50.
Oh God.
Oh, that's when the sun should be there.
It was.
Mmm. Yum yum.
Passenger, if you need to get some sleep, passenger, you're more than welcome to. I will probably call the whole golf as a stream thingy-majiggy at this point here.
Alright then.
Yeah, so I don't even think I'm gonna go into like Final Fantasy XIV on stream or anything like that either. I'm content with, 3.5 more patches to go, and I'll just get into that when July kicks off, when Dawn Trail actually comes out.
A Dawn Trail comes out earlier. You just didn't pay for it.
Don't give a shit. I hate it. I hate this marketing thing of like, oh hey, if you pay the pre-order premium, you get a week early. It's like
wait a week.
I'm fine waiting a week. I'm honestly fine with it, especially since when they're talking about early access, like what they're talking about is the gold release of the game, which because of this age isn't possibly even a proper gold release. Maybe it is because this one has to like work on PlayStation and Xbox, but
are they still doing that thing where you need Xbox Live Gold to play on Xbox, but you don't need PlayStation Plus for PlayStations? That's still a thing.
People play Xbox.
No, you still need PlayStation Plus to play on Final Fantasy XIV. That is not changed.
Stupid.
Also, that link that you sent me for the Twitter post, I was gonna comment on it, but apparently it's been deleted.
Well, it's gonna pop up somewhere else in another, because I've seen it like used in more than one place now. So, but I just love that setup, and I sent it to like Quaggles, the DPS friend, and he's like, "That's something a dude will look at and go, nice."
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
I started 3D printing a new flight sim controller, so like that's gonna be 3 days of printing. I did the first 12 hours yesterday.
My God. They'll look cool though, yeah?
If I paint it, it will be, which I don't know if I will.
Oh no, it's gonna look average.
God.
Maybe. Okay.
It's gonna look so average. It's gonna be so good.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Can't wait to look at that scruggly black LA look.
Oh, Tatsu, how dare you?
I couldn't resist.
So yeah, alrighty then. Well, okay, I'm gonna unpin this message because we're now done playing the game. Did someone send any direct messages? Oh yeah, I did, from whatever this fucking Russian is. Never mind, deleting that chat. But yeah, that is going to be it for me. I'm gonna be on break for a week. There's no streams planned or impromptu.
Oh shit!
A week? You mean month?
A month, sorry. A month. I will be gone.
A week?
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so try not to be on, Twitter as often. Try not to be on TikTok as often. Most certainly not going to be posting any content on TikTok or stream or YouTube. And yeah, try and fix myself. Try and have like a better work-life balance where it's not, chronically online and what have you. So if you are still interested in furries playing video games or just furries streaming, there's all these lovely people who have been streaming. Well, maybe not Jason. Jason's one of my moderators, but all these other people stream. Tatsu... Wait, hang on. What? No, I'm good.
I can't believe you called Jason a lovely person.
Yes.
Jason's a lovely person. They are my...
Look at all these lovely people except Jason, he says.
Look at all these lovely streamers. Any whoosies.
Except make you a bit of a grudge.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Tatsu, when might people find you streaming next?
I'll like play and streaming very shortly.
Oh, you're going to be streaming shortly? Nice, nice. Ripper, you're currently streaming right now, right?
Yeah, don't know what you're talking about.
Alrighty then, I'll go right into you shortly, so then that way everyone that's over here can continue watching you. Emu, thank you for joining into the Discord. Shame you weren't able to join into the games. Would really appreciate once I get back, if I organize something, I think that you'll be able to join in on one of the games. I'll try and go for like a free-to-play game so peeps like Izzy can join in as well. When's the next time you might stream? You do some cool arts.
I haven't streamed in a while. Don't hold your breath. So go check out these other lovely folks.
Okay. Alrighty then. Well, I'll get everyone over into Ripper's stream shortly. And otherwise, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to this morning's stream that's now in the afternoon. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all be well while I'm gone for the month. And otherwise, I want to say good afternoon, good evening, and good night as we go and raid into Ripper around about now. So hopefully